Well, hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to From the Ink Up number 101 here on the secondary channel of IPL Splatoon. It's an absolutely fantastic night for some hot-paced, fast-paced action of From the Ink Up. Joining me here on the mic is the winner of FTIU number 86. It is DHVF. DH, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be here. We're well into the triple digits here for FTIU for this historic, I'd say, tournament. I mean, you don't see a lot of tournaments make it to 101 editions, but that's where we are now. And we're very excited to present to you this. We got a really interesting first match here. We're going to have two teams that I think have been around for at least a little bit here. Let Me Be Clear versus inkyThys Team Omega. And
Yeah.
Electro J, what do you have for us here tonight with these teams?
Yeah, both of these teams have been showing themselves around in the FTIU cap scene. Let me be clear, not the exact same roster as it has always been, but let me be clear, has been around for quite a bit now. I have played against them myself, and same can be said for inkyThys Team Omega. The Team Omega part actually honestly is a bit new for me. I have not seen the Team Omega part. I guess it's a bit of a more recent addition. But other than that, with the first game going to Splat Zones, Barnacle, and Dime, if I'm not mistaken, we have Pink Enby on, let me be clear, does play backlines like we've seen them. I've seen them mostly on Pencil. We could see them on Heavy here as well if they decide to switch so really, honestly, let me be clear, it's got that solid backline. inkyThys, they have a lot as well. Dognar, one of the other members, is kind of a bit of a mixed bag of like either support or anchor, so really it depends on what their roster is going to be set here, and with any of these comps, we really could see anything happen, especially on Barnacle, with all the openness of the map.
Absolutely. I think this is it's a mode, Barnacle Zones, where, you know, a lot of stuff can work. It's not very hyper-specific in the types of weapons that work on it. Like, you can run pretty much anything. As long as you have a good plan, you'll be fine. But, again, it is also a map that can get away from you if you're not careful, especially on the opening. Lockout is harder compared to some other zones maps that you might see in tournaments. But we're about to get into it right now here as we start Game 1 of FTIU number 101 here.
Yeah, like that already being said, we're absolutely ready to get things going. There is the heavy splatting from Mugi, actually, and we see Enby on that zap. We do see that Enby does play the cooler weapons, but doesn't seem they're playing the pencil or anything. Ratchet already going on a flank here with the Splatana Wiper. Trying to look, I believe there's also the Forge Pro on the side of inkyThys as well. We see Zap, Wiper, but we see the Tri-Stringer. You don't see the Tri-Stringer's been seeing a lot more popular use lately, honestly.
Yeah, it's a weapon that's trending up, but they're going to be in a bit of trouble as their teammates go 3 down there. It's just Splatshot on that Tri-Stringer. They're going to have to back up from the stack as Let Me Be Clear takes nice control of that zone. They're going to get another kill. That's a pro again. The Slider's going to come out early from K on those Tetras. That's an interesting weapon we'll have to keep an eye on. They managed to help force a trade with their teammates. And Let Me Be Clear has good control of the stack here. Everything on this map tends to rely around that stack. If Let Me Be Clear hold it, but you see here, they're going to get backed up from it, though, and they're going to go 2 down. So inkyThys doing a good job to move back in the zone and recap it.
Yeah, definitely so. Like, Lockout can be in really just a pain in the butt for any team here, because it can be so hard to get back from it. But from what we've seen with both of these teams, they both have been able to retake very easily from a possible lockout scenario. We see the Wiper here has a hammer ready, does elect to pop it. The one remaining member they're trying to possibly kill does go down. They just barely missed the hammer throw onto Enby, and they go down themselves. But with, I believe it is inkyThys, took back control of the zone. Dognar with this NZAP 89 splash shot with the Tri-Stringer, as we were mentioning already. It's a very strong hold already. They're not exactly on the plat per se, but they are doing a very good job at holding thus far. But watch out, here comes Let Me Be Clear.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 down for inkyThys and a recap of that zone for Let Me Be Clear. And Let Me Be Clear might want to go forward. They have a Tetra who has slided already. That's K, going to pop it there and getting some good stuff with it. And Let Me Be Clear, they have that stack again. They don't have that lead yet. They have a good bit long ways to go here, but they're starting out stronger through that penalty. Although that bucket does go down on that stack, that's not a kill that they necessarily want to have on that team there. Now, Pink Enby dodging around that zap, but so many specials coming on the zone for inkyThys, and it's going to be enough to at least stop the zone. But let me be clear, they maintain that hold. That stamp does come out as well. Still, that zone is in limbo, in a bit of flux there. Let me be clear, they're still going to hold on to all of those specials that came out from inkyThys. Really nice job there from Let Me Be Clear.
Yeah, Let Me Be Clear is doing a really good job at keeping control of the zone. We're already about to possibly see a lead swap here, and we are going to see it right now. Mugi pops that wave breaker to try to get any extra locational utility, but watch out, Booyah Bomb is rapidly approaching your location, but they do go down, but that is not going to be enough. Let Me Be Clear comes back from a possible knockout, and they claim the knockout themselves for the first win of their set for this tournament.
An amazing defensive stand by Let Me Be Clear on that hold there. I thought for a large chunk of that retake attempt by inkyThys that they were going to be able to recap that how many specials came out. You saw hammers, you saw booyah bombs, you saw chumps, you saw a lot of things that were just getting paint, getting consistent damage on the zone, but it was never enough to cap. I mean, I think, Let Me Be Clear, they just held on for dear life, and it really paid off by the end. So excellent job by Let Me Be Clear to take a really back and forth game one.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a lot of retakes. Both those teams went blow for blow, but Let Me Be Clear is the one to come out on top of that whole skirmish between those two teams. We saw Mugi went down to that Booyah Bomb, and honestly, I thought that could have been it, possibly. That could have been wraps for these teams, but no, Let Me Be Clear made sure to not back down at all, and they kept the pressure up, and they definitely got the win off of that very well-earned win already to get themselves going, because with especially with how unforgiving this tournament bracket could be, like if you lose one set, then realistically, unless your group becomes a jumbled mess of tiebreakers, you probably can say your chances of making gold bracket go down, but they're definitely not out for sure right now. It's still only game 2. Scorch Rainmaker. Honestly, this can be a bit of a snowball heavy map, especially if you get the right numbers advantages here. I'm kind of curious to see if we're gonna see any inkvacs at all, because we've been seeing so much inkvacs, especially always on Rainmaker of all things, but with all the buffs that it got in more recent patches. But for inkyThys, they've got to be careful here.
Now, although immediately I do gravitate to that bow that inkyThys ran for game 1, it is a weapon that I think really excels on Rainmaker. I mean, it's been excelling in all modes lately, for being honest, but Rainmaker in particular, I think even before it kind of made its way fully into the meta, you saw bow picked a lot on Rainmaker. It has that excellent object damage. It will be able to pop that shield, maybe a bit more than Let Me Be Clear will be able to. I mean, from what I could tell, they had a good popping cop as well, but it might not be enough to match what inkyThys can bring out there. And I think for Scorch Gorge in particular, it's a very linear map. I think on these linear, almost like Tetris piece hallway maps, you want to describe it that way, like popping the Rainmaker matters that much more, because there's not a lot of ways to, circumvent the places in which the Rainmaker is popped. You just kind of have to run at it. If you pop it, that just enables you to run at it that much better. So I think winning the pop battle is going to be crucial for both these teams, but I think my initial inclination is to kind of give inkyThys a bit more of the favor there.
Yeah, no, that I definitely would agree with you there. Like, inkyThys definitely could have a lot more popping power, like, even if they have, like any lack of lethal bombs. We do see the 52 gal and the Tri-Slosher come out. We do see the bow switch from the Inkline Tri-Stringer to the Bulbs Tri-Stringer with that Inkjet. Inkjet can be very good, honestly, with pushing people out of spaces, especially even if it's not as strong as it used to be. It's still very much a force to be reckoned with, and we see, I believe, is it the Wiper that's going out? No, it is Koopa on the 52 gal going out on the left there, trying to see if they can get any picks, but unfortunately they are the first to fall in this skirmish with 20 seconds in already, as we see. I believe the Rainmaker did pop. Dognard trying to get up and be aggressive, gets a pick on one, but with just nobody has been able to get any push on the Rainmaker yet.
Very patient approach from both teams, I'd say, especially considering the weapons that you have. You see a Wiper and Tri, 52 on one side, Tetris, Bucket on the other. Those are all weapons that want to be going into the thick of things very quickly, being aggressive, but we haven't seen it quite yet. Oh, speaking of the Devils, those Tetris do go down, but the strikes there for Let Me Be Clear on that elbow might be able to make some space for the other teammates. Here's Cherry on the Bucket, trying to look for a fight in left pit there. You're going to see them move around a bit, but still very slow start for both these teams here. Things are kind of stagnating in mid to start here.
Yeah, it's very much just so much of a, neither team. It's kind of like playing a game of chicken almost. But as we say this, though, it looks like it is inkyThys Team Omega is the first team to get a grab on the Rainmaker. Only able to put it down to 81 remaining. Not that much as well, but oh, watch out. Ambi gets, calls out the jump, and they get the 2 picks there. Ambi does with the cooler, is going to pick up and grab the Rainmaker and make a mad dash for that check. They do get one down each for both sides right now. But NB knows that the Gallows over there. They can't be too aggressive. They drop down into the pit. They get the pick that they were hoping for. This is the big chance for Let Me Be Clear to snag the lead, which they're so close to getting. There is the lead swap, but unfortunately does not get the dunk. Both teams still just like with almost 2 minutes chewed off the clock already. Neither team can find the first check.
Yeah, good hold by inkyThys to prevent that check from falling, and to get ensuing 3 down on the potential counter push here that inkyThys might be able to go through. Mid has been pretty occupied throughout this entire part of the map, part of this first opening map, but right now inkyThys has good control of it. The inkjet is going to come up with Splat Shot on that bow there. Rainmaker moving up maybe a bit earlier than they would have liked to, but they hold up on this elbow now. It's not going to be enough though, as Let Me Be Here takes care of things, and again continues the defensive feeding of this game to start.
Yeah, that already some good defense after getting that lead carry. Forced the Wiper to drop out or jump out. The Wiper does still have the hammer, which is definitely a net positive for the side of inkyThys, even if it means they have to try to basically kind of almost fully reset at this point. Hey, just slipping and sliding with these Tetra dualies right now. Avoids the hammer throw. I believe the cooler actually blocks the hammer. Wave comes out as well, but they will go down to the Tri-Stringer sitting up on the snipe. Rainmaker is going to reset back into mid here. This is the popping power that we just mentioned, we were talking about earlier. inkyThys gets the pop there with just a lot of extra popping power that they have, and Splat Shot gets another pick onto the dualies. They're 2 down already. This could be a good chance for inkyThys to get a possible lead swap with the check. They do get through the check. That is a lead swap, even though it is only at 1 point. But even then, it's still a bit of better advantage for Let Me Be Clear, because in order for Let Me Be Clear, they not only have to push up and get through the checkpoint, they then have to pop the Rainmaker again and pick it up to get the lead back from inkyThys if they're able to move forward at all.
Yeah, I mean, on that topic, I found it very interesting that Splat Shot on the bow was the one who grabbed the Rainmaker for inkyThys. They died after they got that checkpoint, meaning that they weren't able to pop it again, allowing them to be clearly moving for this counter push here, which we now see, although maybe they move a bit too quickly there, move right into that try. They do get the trade there, but inkyThys, they're going to pop that Rainmaker again and keep that checkpoint down, knowing that inkyThys has that checkpoint and Let Me Be Clear does not. They can opt to play more defensively. Time is now on their side, even though it's just a 1-point lead. It's a pretty big 1-point lead, if that makes sense in a way. They have a lot more work, considering that both these teams have been playing patient defensively. It's something that inkyThys can really lean into now. Although we'll see if JR Ratchet is going to work with that though. They find a kill on that heavy sparring there, and they have space up on the flat of Let Me Be Clear. The jet does get cancelled, that's 2 down. That Wiper event is going to get taken out on the flat as well. And Let Me Be Clear, this is the best opportunity they've had all game. Pink Envy there on that zap. He's going to pick up the Rainmaker, give drinks for the team. The strikes are going to come out.
No.
40 seconds remaining, and Let Me Be Clear, there's plenty of time. They got to survive here, and they don't. That Splat Shot on the bow, getting a really valuable trade and putting a dagger in Let Me Be Clear's push for now. inkyThys is going to get jumps in, and they're going to have good positioning. Although Let Me Be Clear, they are going to get that pop because that bow did go down earlier. They pick up the Rainmaker again. It's just a try in front. They're going to go for the kill, and they get it. It's another really good trade by inkyThys, but how much longer can they hold this with just 17 seconds remaining?
Yeah, I know, this is very scary territory with how much Let Me Be Clear is pushing. K gets the pick on Splat Show, and that is another grab of the Rainmaker. They still... Oh no! K falls off the map! With 5 seconds remaining, they do get the checkpoint, and Envy is there. They do get the pop, and they do get the grab on the Rain, but... no, they actually didn't even break the checkpoint in the first place! inkyThys, they... Even with so much pressure, they don't buckle. And they just hold firm, and they take game number 2, and they force the game 3.
We have a set that is all tied up heading into game 3, and it's thanks to inkyThys' amazing defense there upon the elbow to make sure that checkpoint did not fall at any cost. 68 points is not a lead on score terrain that usually wins games, but it was more than enough for inkyThys here. There was a lot of bending in that sequence. They bent and they bent and they bent, but they did not break there. Just amazing defense. You saw a lot of trades throughout that sequence. I was worried that inkyThys is eventually going to run out of people to start trading, as, you know, both people kept going down on each side. I was worried that maybe the dam is going to finally break, but they held strong there. They kept getting jumps in. I think they got a cooler out there in that defensive sequence that really helped them, and because of that, they have won a very defensive game, which I think that they really dictate the pace stat. I mean, I think it was a slower game. A lot was played in mid. There were very few interactions on plat as a whole. I think that's really how inkyThys wants to play. They're not, I think, compared to the Tetras that you see on Let Me Be Clear, they're definitely a slower team, and they kind of forced Let Me Be Clear to slow down to their pace in a way that game. We'll see if they can replicate that heading into Tower Mako for the decisive game 3.
Oh yes, Makomar Tower. This is really anyone's game looking at both these. You honestly you detailed it perfectly earlier. Like you were saying that inkyThys definitely has a slower comp, but they're forcing, let me be clear, to more slow down to their pace. And honestly, if you're slowing down to the pace of inkyThys, when you have a Tetra Dually on the team whose whole shtick is really just to be as mobile as possible, just like trying to get behind them like any slider, all the quadruple dodge roll that you can put off all at once. But if you're slowing down, you can't really do anything, then that kind of limits your ability to really let your weapon shine. But let me be clear, we saw how much they were doing, like, despite how well inkyThys held there, like, honestly, you and me both are kind of thinking, like, that was gonna go to Let Me Be Clear's way. Like, looking at Dognar, we saw Dognar trade out with the Rain with a couple about, like, I think, like, 15 seconds remaining. That was probably one of the bigger trades that inkyThys needed. And that allowed the Rainmaker to be stalled, because then you had to spend a bunch of extra time popping that Rainmaker, and it allowed members of inkyThys to get back into some positions that they might need, and that ultimately helped secure them the win. But game number 3 on Makomar Tower Control, this one's for all the marbles in this set, with already it being only the first set of the game. It is crazy to think that how back and forth these two teams are, that it can come down to this.
See the exact same comps from both teams here as we get into game 3, and keep an eye on K for Let Me Be Clear on those Tetras. You're going for a map in Scorched Rain where there's basically no flank routes to one on Mach Tower where there are plenty there, and you're going to see Let Me Be Clear gets a good value here, 1K going down, but also getting another trade on the other side. Let Me Be Clear has good paint control, but they're going to have to deal with that Wiper on the flank, and that's exactly what they do. Cherry on that bucket getting some nice value there to start. And Let Me Be Clear, again, a very slow start. You don't see teams diving as much. You don't see teams going for those aggressive plays, although it looks like Let Me Be Clear is going to be put on the back foot of the match to start here.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things you kind of actually come to think about it when it comes to like with the pace of play that these teams want to play. You have some weapons on each thing that might not be able to keep up as much. Like Tetra and Wiper, those are two very fast-paced weapons, and also the Gal as well with inkyThys. Like Gal definitely likes to play fast. So does Bucket can also play fast as well. Just the speed of all of these players can really be how well can each team manage their speed, and if they can slow down the other team. As see J Ratchet just sitting here on the left side, just being a nuisance with the Wiper, throwing the Ultra Stamp to finding nobody, unfortunately. But that does give them enough time to corner Moogie and get a very big pick with already the counter under 50 remaining for inkyThys, and it's still pushing to the second checkpoint.
If you're looking for some action here, inkyThys is delivering right now. They get past that pivotal second checkpoint. Splatshot finds a nice kill with the jet before going down. It is just that Wiper for inkyThys, but they gotta be very happy with that push. Getting to 22, that's a tough lead. Let Me Be Clear has their work cut out for them they don't even have a single point on the board yet. Now, there's still plenty of time, so it'll be very interesting how they can respond here. They get the cooler up, they get some interesting specials up here. And I don't know, like, I think, again, it feels like Let Me Be Clear, they're playing very patiently right now. I feel like you might want to see a bit more pace from them here, knowing that, they've already have a large lead to work through. They do get 2 down there, so that might be a start. The strikes are going to come out to help clear out this first checkpoint here.
Yeah, you gotta be careful though. I don't think they know, well, they probably definitely do now with the Whale, that Koopa is sitting over on this far left side. They do not get the trade out onto the Mookie has to jump back because they're the only one remaining. That is basically an effective shutdown from the side of inkyThys. Let Me Be Clear does clear that first checkpoint, but they still have over half of the amount of points they need to score to get going and get the lead back into their favor. But we see, I believe it is K here on those Tetra Dualies, just being what Tetra does best, but they do go down to the collective might of the rest of the remaining members of inkyThys. And with 2 minutes 20 seconds remaining, Koopa with this Gal trying to see if they can do anything, possibly get an extra pick, but no, they have to back up for the run sake.
Yeah, inkyThys is really dragging Let Me Be Clear into these really drawn out mid-fights. You look at that Tri-Slasher for them, they're getting some nice damage here throughout. That bow is constantly giving back jumps in. Let Me Be Clear has not been able to find consistent pressure on that bow here, so they kind of ping-pong between each of the stacks here. That Wiper does go down, and the strikes do come out. I mean, this might be a way for Let Me Be Clear to get back in. They finally get some pressure on Splatshot here. It's 3 down. Let Me Be Clear is in business, at least for their push. They have first checkpoint cleared already. That's 1 step here. Look, keep it on K here. They have that slide already, and it looks like they wanted to go all the way around that far right to take a flank here. They are spotted maybe a bit earlier than they would have wanted to. They need to get this kill, and they get a trade. That's not quite what you're looking for if you're Let Me Be Clear, but another one goes down on the side of inkyThys. So Let Me Be Clear, they are going to at least get it to the second checkpoint, but getting to it and getting past it are two different things, and they really need to get past it here. The strikes are going to come out again, and just like that, Let Me Be Clear is past it. They're 2 down on the side of inkyThys. The lead does flip. Let Me Be Clear keeps inkyThys in a stagger loop. Here comes a slider. It's going to create some nice distraction there. That third checkpoint timer is ticking down right now, and they do get past it there.
Yeah, no, that was a very big push from the side of Let Me Be Clear, and with under a minute to go now, it is crunch time for inkyThys to try to get themselves back in. We saw how well they were playing, but them going down so much, and honestly a bit of a stagger we were seeing. Kupo pops the whale, hammer, it gets thrown as well. More picks are starting to trickle in here for the side of inkyThys. It is 2 down already, but Mookie does have that wave breaker, even if it might not do anything. But Splat Show, we saw them earlier, even though that Let Me Be Clear was able to get it, they were putting out a lot of pressure with the AoE, but they were able to do it. But it looks like it's an effective delayed wipe on the side of inkyThys. Everyone is gone from the side there, and with 25 seconds, this could be the end of the game here, DH.
inkyThys has a long way to go. Just 15 seconds in overtime remaining. Let Me Be Clear doesn't really... Actually, no, Let Me Be Clear does have a GG special with that strikes, and they have those ready right now, so that bucket really just needs to stay alive until overtime hits in 5 seconds here. inkyThys is going to be on this tower, moving about. Overtime is now saying, here come the strikes, here comes a slider. That's a lot of explosions there, and it's not going to be enough for inkyThys to last. Let Me Be Clear is going to take this set 2-1.
Man, there's a lot of promise, but unfortunately the GG specials are just coming out right on cue. Just, oh, waiter, more explosions. Just everything was just explosion. Like, you didn't even want to even be anywhere near the tower. Like, if you were off the tower, you'd get Reef Slider. You were on the tower, sorry, here comes some strikes right down on top of your head. And for inkyThys, unfortunately, that is the set loss. But for Let Me Be Clear, it is a very good comeback from letting up that second game, especially with how much you could tell they really wanted that second game back, and it showed here in this second game, or not in the second game, excuse me, the third game. And for them, they improved to 1-0.
Yeah, really well fought by Let Me Be Clear, especially after the rebound after that loss on Scorch Rain in Game 2. It was a tough loss. They got very close to taking it in close to overtime there. They almost got that checkpoint, just couldn't get there, but they responded quite well, especially towards the beginning of that game where inkyThys got a great push of their own. They've responded to it, and they're going to be taking this set here as they move on to round 2 of groups.
Yeah, round 2, definitely they need to keep that momentum going if they want a chance to make gold bracket. They definitely, I would say, like, from what I've seen from Let Me Be Clear, both of these teams have the potential to make the gold bracket, but unfortunately it's a case of only one team is the one that can get the win. And for both of these teams, it was Let Me Be Clear that is the one that gets the last laugh. But for the time being, we're going to be taking a bit of a short break here while we get squared away for round 2 of groups. Don't go anywhere, though. It will be coming sooner than you think.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to FTIU number 100. We are through round number 1, and we are moving into round number 2 of groups, and we got a good one here between Ancient Nightmare and Flame to a Moth. Ancient Nightmare, they won their round 1 set. Flame to a Moth, they lost their round 1 set. So I think we're kind of seeing a situation where Ancient Nightmare, if they want to make it to gold bracket, if they want to contend to win this tournament, I know they're a team that's been around for a while. This is one that they're going to want to win, and Flame to a Moth, similarly, like, they've already had one loss. If they want to keep their hopes alive, it's win or go home type of situation for them here.
Yeah, definitely so. And actually, you were talking about Ancient Nightmare in contention to win the tournament. The last FTIU that was held here at IPL, at the Grand FTIU 100, Ancient Nightmare did finish in 3rd place out of the 44 teams that showed up, even though the competition is a little thinner this time. Not as many teams showed up. I believe the last time I checked, it was like, yeah, it says 26 teams have showed up to play in this FTIU. We've had a couple dropouts already, but that being said, Ancient Nightmare, they're smelling that second win. They definitely are smelling that second win, and they want to try to see if they can get it to anything. Flame to a Moth, a bit of a pickup of Moth to a Flame, and then some other players as well as we get squared away for game number 1 here on Undertow Rainmaker. We do see Alphine, we see them on the pen as well. I don't believe Sine Wheel, they are also a backline player for the side of Ancient Nightmare. Alphine coming into sub. I don't believe that Sine is on the roster here right now.
And keep an eye on Arya and those duty squashers on the side of Flame to a Moth. Not a weapon that you see a lot, but it's one that, you know, a good player that can absolutely make it work. So Ancient Nightmare will certainly have to keep an eye on it as we get into the opening here. We're going to see Flame to a Moth pick up the Rainmaker relatively quickly here. Arya trying to poke some nicely, but they do manage to get a trade there. Ancient Nightmare goes for checkpoint. They do actually get it. That was maybe a bit catching Ancient Nightmare off guard a bit as Flame to a Moth. They're going to pop this. Get a kill with the pop, and Daisy is just going to have a free roam to just run it. They have some help from teammates now as they look to move forward that corridor to the final goal, and they managed to have them get stopped at 30.
Yeah, that Crab Tank really shut down any chance of Flame to a Moth pushing up farther. Alphine here has the cooler about to be ready. They're looking to get the pop here. Cloud9 does have missiles ready as well. The Crab Tank gets popped. All the specials are starting to fly on every single side here from every single player. The Crab Tank, I believe we see another explosive lob shot do get some chip damage. Not anything really. They do see the Wiper does get found on the side of Flame to a Moth, but the team is kind of just ignoring him for a little bit, and Cloud9 almost went down to an Ultra Stamp throw, and they're still getting some more picks before they go down themselves. You definitely, like, you see them and you call them out, but that's a Wiper, and they could get more kills faster than you think, and that gives enough time for Flame to a Moth to get another push for him.
Ancient Nightmare still has scoreless. They don't have any points on the board yet as we're through a minute and a half in this game. Flame to a Moth, they want to push further. 30 is a good lead, but they can get a better lead here. They're going to take it around the grades. Daisy, no one in that pencil, carrying the rain, moving forward. They're going to get 6 more points here. Not a ton of points, but it's points that Flame to a Moth is going to be happy with as Ancient Nightmare picks up their maker and finally moves in the mid here.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of talk about the points. Pain may be temporary, but that progress towards the KO is permanent, honestly. I know what the part of the saying is, I don't remember at the time being right now. But with that being said already, Ancient Nightmare does get a very fast push up. They do break this check. They do get the sprinkler down. That Rainmaker shield is going to pop very fast. Alphine electing to pick up the Rainmaker again. They don't have a cooler, so they're just going to go. They're just going to run it all the way down and get the lead. Down to, I believe it is 19, I believe? Yeah, it is 19, and that is just like that, the lead is swapped, especially in a game mode like Rainmaker. No lead is ever really truly safe because it can go down so fast, and before you even know it, all of a sudden your lead is gone, and you're possibly now on the back foot.
I mean, if you blinked, you might have missed it there. The lead flips just like that. For a mode as fast as Rainmaker, Flame to a Moth needed to be a bit more careful there. They had a good lead, but it was not good enough. They're going to need to push again and get far. They do get 2 down here thanks to that stamp coming up from their Wiper player. Daisy on that pencil. They grab their cooler. They're going to grab the rain again, start to push towards that left side. Ancient Nightmare is not really set up right now, but neither is Flame to a Moth. That's their 2 down themselves. Daisy now with that rain, dodging pen shots, getting jumps back toward that left checkpoint area. That Crab is going to come out on the side of Ancient Nightmare and help kill too. Daisy is really alone by themselves right now. You see that Wiper coming to help them a bit, but here come the missiles for Ancient Nightmare. Daisy is caught in a bit of a pickle there, and they're going to go down without getting any points or getting anywhere close to getting points, really.
ESM does know that Arya is there. They do actually, oh, it is an unfortunate trade for both of them. I kind of was hoping to see if the Sculpture could come out of top there, especially with the fact that Blaster did get the initial first hit, but they just, unfortunately, the Sculpture had enough in them to get that second, all those shots remaining that they needed to do. And for Ancient Nightmare, that's another push stop that's definitely a lot, but they are still a bunch of numbers down. They have a lot of people going to shred the rain. It is just Cloud9 trying to get a pop here, and Moth is noticing this, and they are going full send already. They pick up the Rainmaker, the wave comes out, but ESM is going to say otherwise. They just have everybody there. They do go down eventually, but not before Ancient Nightmare can help play support, and that is, I believe, possibly a effective delayed wipe for the side of Ancient Nightmare to keep themselves in the lead already with under a minute to go.
Yeah, and have possession of the Rainmaker in the part of the map that is really hard to access for Flame Moth. Maybe this Ultra Stim from Beef number 7 is going to help. That Flame Moth, just like that, they grab the Rainmaker and they have numbers up. They have a chance to get this lead. They find a kill, but 2 go down their side. They're going to need to be a bit more patient if they want to take this lead. They're close to it. Daisy, so weak, and they live long enough just for the wipeout. That's going to be a flip of the lead. They almost get the knockout, but Flame Moth, what amazing patience there to wait Ancient Nightmare out long enough just to get that wipeout and to get a lead that's going to be extremely hard to beat with just 7 seconds left.
Yeah, good things come to those who wait, and for the side of Flame to a Moth, that is basically a lead that you basically is almost perfectly defendable. Really, for Ancient Nightmare to win this game, they have to KO here. But with already a bunch of time being burnt off this Rainmaker clock, already a quarter of the time has been burnt off, and Alphine has to try to be wary. They do have Wave Breakers, they have Ultra Stamps as well. There's so much being said, and there comes the Ultra Stamp. The Don't Retreat does come down. They're already under half the time remaining to possibly get another push here, and there's somebody threatening. Alphine is just throwing shots they can to try to make sure they do. This is basically, they have to go now. They have to push up as soon as, they have to go as fast as humanly possible because they only have 15 seconds remaining. This looks like it is going to be possibly it here for Ancient Nightmare, and there is the final pick. Flame to a Moth takes game 1.
Yeah, just an absolute stranglehold on mid on that last sequence for Flame to a Moth. Ancient Nightmare really had nowhere to go, and they just ran out of time at the end. But, I mean, credit to Flame to a Moth there. I mean, I think coming in as the underdog, knowing that they've already lost a set, Ancient Nightmare has won a set, they had an exceptional game. I think they let Ancient Nightmare get their lead to begin with at about halfway through the game, and that was fine. I think a lot of teams, they simply can't get past that because Undertow is kind of a more defensive map if you play it correctly, but they just never let up on that left checkpoint part of the map. And from there, they were just able to kind of snowball. They got a really good hammer play from there. And just, I really want to shout out Daisy, who carried the Rainmaker for them for pretty much the whole game. They did an amazing job being patient there. I thought that maybe we're going a bit early, but they backed up just the right amount of time, let their teammates finish off the members of Ancient Nightmare, who maybe fed a little bit, and from there just sprinted to the goal and got a lead that they would never relinquish.
Yeah, just the sheer amount of patience coming out from Daisy and also Flame to a Moth as a whole, that is definitely it is a master class level, honestly, that you saw. They saw all the things that were getting thrown their way. They knew, okay, let them waste all their resources trying to stop us. Like we saw the Crab Tank, we see the Hammer. They let them get them all wasted, and eventually once they knew that they were all gone, or they just had a chance to run it, they would go. And also that wipeout towards the end that got the that got the progress down to 1. That was really the big push that honestly they needed, but with just how much they were pushing so far, it was so much that they could do. But now it is Robo Ramen Zones. We saw Alphine on that pen. If Alphine is the one that's going to be staying in this lobby, they definitely can have a lot more. The thing with talks about a lot with Ancient Nightmare, they definitely have a lot of extra range. That Crab Tank, those pencils, and a lot. They have a lot what it takes to possibly keep Flame to a Moth at more of an arm's length, but with the amount of patience that we've seen from Flame to a Moth, that honestly, that might be still a thing that they can go in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, I think zones in general, especially ramen zones, another one of those more linear maps where I think if you're having a really good backline player like Alphine on that pen can swing the needle there. Of course, Daisy, they ran pen last game. We'll see if they stick with it. So I think it'll be very interesting how these teams can, play around their backlines and also get pressure on the opposing backlines. I think the margin of error on a map like Ramen Zones is a little bit smaller, just because, it's literally an uphill battle to try and get back to zone on retake. If your backline goes down, is displaced from the spot above zone on ramp, then it can be very tough. So we'll have to see how these teams play around that.
Yeah, definitely. So like the retake, this is another map where it can be pretty hard to retake, because you also got to be careful of like any flanks on underneath the lower parts of the map, because if you don't keep attention to those, like something like the wiper from Flame to Moth can drop down, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, what's this? They're behind you with an ultra stamp now, and they can be very dangerous. So both teams really just have to be especially on point in a match like this. But for Ancient Nightmare, they definitely want to win this game, and they definitely have what it takes to win it. Both these teams have what it takes, but only one of these two teams can come out on top.
And we are seeing a return to that pen, a return to that custom blaster. Pretty much the same thing for Ancient Nightmare, except they're switching from that dread, that crab dread, to the normal reslider dread. It's a similar thing for Flame to Moth. You see the return of that wiper, the squatters, the pen. So very interesting to see how these two teams approach it as we get into the match. We see Cloud9 on that pro, kind of moving a bit between the alley and the top of ramp. You see Ancient Nightmare does have that slider ready, so it will be very interesting to see if they pop it here. That's exactly what they do. It does not get as much value as they would have thought though, so into a Moth, holding strong here, survives the slider at least. The missiles are going to come out. Daisy tap shotting that dread, maybe got a little greedy there. Good job surviving that from Daisy, and Flame the Moth has capped his zone for good.
Oh, that is just, that's like the worst feeling, like you're fighting up close to the pen and they manage to tap shot you, like that definitely does not make you feel good. And actually looking at it, Sine Wheel does sub out for Alphine there. We do see them, it is still the pen, but we see the splashdown come on. ESN does get the one pick, but here comes the reslider. That is gonna be the cap for the side of Ancient Nightmare. They've been on the back foot so much for this game, but now they definitely have a chance to get a hold onto the zone, and now with the pen moving up, trying to get into a better position for the side of Ancient Nightmare, and with the penalty already gone and that counter ticking down, it's going to tick down faster than you think? It's going to tick down faster than you think. But already the hammer gets shut down, the squelchers got shut down, Reef incoming, the bucket goes down as well. This is a very good hold from the side of Ancient Nightmare, keeping Flame to a Moth staggered, and they will take the lead back.
Ancient Nightmare still doing a very good job keeping pain up on that ramp, keeping high ground over that. Beat is going to dive with that Ultra Stamp. They're going to get taken down. The strikes are going to come out from Flame to the Moth there. It's going to at least pause the zone timer to go down the side of Ancient Nightmare, but Ancient Nightmare, they're going to cap that zone just like that. Time is ticking down. Flame to the Moth needs to act quickly. They have their bucket down. They have two more going down there. What a play by Ancient Nightmare. Just a couple ticks remaining, and that is going to be it. Ancient Nightmare, they lose the initial cap, but once they capped it, they did not let go. They tie the setup 1-1.
Yeah, not looking back at all of your Ancient Nightmare. We saw that it looked very pressuring for the side of Ancient Nightmare when they lost control of that zone, and then we saw Flame to a Moth was doing really good. But I believe it is a double kill from either Hibby or ESM with those blasts. We saw Hibby going way up with the Dread, being very, very aggressive, and they ended up working out for them. They got all the kills that they needed to, all the splats to keep themselves in control of the zone. They did not get a penalty tacked onto them at all. And for the side of Ancient Nightmare, that is the game going to them, and we're once again going to another Game 3.
Yeah, not just any Game 3, a decisive Game 3. Winner of this one, they're gonna win the set here. And I think in terms of the map we're moving to, it's gonna be Clamblitz Inkblot Art Academy. Honestly, like, I feel like this could be a map that goes either way. I think, again, like, Inkblot as a whole, especially on claims, I'd say, it's a pretty neutral map. I'd say the one thing you gotta know about it is that it's hard to back up once the enemy team does have a good hold on your plat. Like, I feel like the only options are, like, the sponge on the far right, or, like, that wall that goes kind of back to spawn area. So I think, like, you gotta make sure that to hold that plat where that basket is really, really hardly. Like, I think, like, you just gotta devote a lot of resources to it, because I think if you see a blaster there, if you see a wiper there, and they get pain up, they get, you know, a momentum up there, it's going to be tough to, you know, displace them and kind of space them out to properly take care of them like you normally would. So both these teams gotta be careful here as we move on to Game 3.
Yeah, kind of on the topic of the wiper, honestly, if we do see the wiper still here, I believe Beef is going to be sticking here. But one of the things that definitely a better thing for Sword, like, you definitely, like, a lot of people like to open left and possibly get a really quick peek at your plat, possibly through that ramp on the far left side, or possibly infiltrate the bats. That definitely, like, it's a lot better for swords to take it. As a Splatana main myself, I main Stamper, but like dropping left with sword is like probably your go-to when it comes to your rollout option here, right on the opening. But you also have to be careful because we see a lot of the AoE, we see the buckets and everything as well. They can get a lot, they can kind of counter any swords under a ledge, but that being said, like that's just kind of what I'm thinking. We don't know. I can't like telepathically like put my thoughts into exactly what's gonna happen. I could be very wrong for all we know. But game number 3 away, winner take all here in this best of 3. Ancient Nightmare and Flames with Moth. One of these teams is gonna come out with the set win here at DH. We're gonna see who it's gonna be.
Yeah, we see switch to the 52 gal for Flame Moth, and we see Ancient Nightmare return back to the Crag Dread that they pulled out for game 1. Other than that though, not many switches here. It's once again going to be a pen v pen battle with Daisy and Alfie on those pencils for both these teams. That's Blur on the 52 gal on the side of Flames with the Moth. Moving around a bit, keeping an eye on Arya there. They're taking a bit of an aggressive position on that far left side. Daisy's going to help kill that blaster on mid ESM 24. They're going to take a nice angle on this left stack, gives them high ground, gives them a good vantage point of the plat. And Ancient Nightmare, they're being put on the back foot pretty quickly. Although maybe I spoke too soon, as Ancient Nightmare does get flamed to a Moth, 2 down, and causing them to scramble a bit around that left stack. Lead number 7, they have that Ultra Stamp. They're striking. I don't think they know where they are. Lead number 7 still moving around this left side. They pop the stamp now, and Ancient Nightmare knows for sure now.
Yeah, that being said though, 2 go down on both sides. And with Cloud9 on this Frozen Pro on the side, trying to see if they can get anything. Blur is making sure that they don't let anybody from Ancient Nightmare going. We actually were talking that it was Alpine. Sine is still here on the pen as well, but it is still a pen v pen, like you were saying. Toho, Hibby getting very close to a crab tank here, but it looks like Daisy does know that they are over there. I think only just for the time being, but now watch out. Here they comes. It's too late for Daisy to react. They get the splat, and with the crab tank ready and 7 claims to their name, Hibby's got a lot of potential here to possibly cause some real damage on the side of Ancient Nightmare.
Yeah, they make that ball and pop that crab tank immediately on the plat, and this is what I meant earlier. I think Flames with Mach just has no options when they drop onto that plat. They're dropping into a death pit basically. Even if they try to go above, Hibby on that Dreadringer is going to find a kill there as well, and the clams are pouring in right now for Ancient Nightmare. They're at 45, but it looks like they're going to get even more in. The coolers are going to come out. That pen is going to back up there to maybe get some more clams, though it is just him, so I think they're going to look to retreat and give back jumps in mid, but even still, 36 is an excellent push to start out for Ancient Nightmare. It's one that Flame to a Moth has got to mobilize to get beat as we move into the latter part of this match.
Yeah, Hibby kind of drops down there right into the gaping maw of beef with that Viper, and they do go down themselves. One of the things definitely wanted to mention, it started off strong for Flame to a Moth, and that was what we saw in the previous game as well. But then we saw Ancient Nightmare just come back swinging, and they really couldn't do anything. Flame to a Moth does get a score in the basket, but I believe that there's nothing else that their teammates really can do. They only have 2 claims to their name. The economy is in shambles right now for Flame to a Moth. The basket's only going to close with just that initial power claim, but that is a very small penalty to go through compared to Ancient Nightmare's 32. They're going to have to do a lot to get through that initial penalty for Ancient Nightmare, but for Flame to a Moth, they definitely have a lot. They have that extra pity claim in the back. He throws the Ultra Stamp to no avail, but they still don't have a lot of claims in the economy either. It is just a lot of Ancient Nightmare just making sure they have control of the economy, they have control of space, and it's just doing so much for them.
Flame to a Moth, they're getting trades here or there, but it's not enough to take meaningful space in mid here. And now they're just calling a full-blown stagger. It's just Daisy on that bot. They're going to have a Booyah Bomb to contend. Ancient Nightmare is going to kill that pen and is going to score again. They have a 3 down. Annie on this pen, they're going to opt to jump in, even though they probably could have just swam it in if they wanted to. They're through the penalty. They're all the way down to 16. Flame to a Moth has to mobilize. They have to get out of the stagger. It's at 10 now, and Ancient Nightmare just keeps getting kills. Cloud9 weaving around the left side of plat to find kills more and more. It's not going to be enough for the KO, but it's really going to put a dent in Flame to the Moth's ambitions. Forget about even scoring at this point. They got to get back in the mid. I think everything is just in shambles for them right now in the way that Ancient Nightmare is kind of infiltrate every angle that one could take on that plat there. They have a lot of cleanup to do as we move into the final minute of this game.
Yeah, right now it is just hyperdrive, overdrive, hit the gas at 55 right now for the side of Ancient Nightmare, and Flames from Moth, they can't really seem to get anything going, but they're starting to do better. The Duelist Collectors does go down on the side of, so does the Gal for the side of Flames from Moth. They can't seem to get anything going. They do get control a bit, but at what cost? People are going down left, right, and center, but ESM does go down. That's a lot of pressure off of the side of Flames of Mach. We do see the Dewey Scorcher trying to do anything. They get a score in. Beef has enough, but they're so low on health. They go down as well. Daisy is the last one to go down. There is a wipeout for the side of Ancient Nightmare, and that is just crushing for the side of Flames of Mach, because with 15 seconds remaining and no clams to your name, this is not good at all.
Yeah, Ancient Nightmare, they might just move in the score again. I mean, they have so much control in plat, and they're just gonna KO it right there. There will not even be an overtime here. Ancient Nightmare decisively takes game 3. They're gonna win this set, and they're gonna move to 2-0 here, just one set away from completing the perfect 3-0 in groups and punching their ticket to gold bracket.
Actually, yeah, you do make a good point on that. They do go 3-0 on that set, because I'm pretty sure, looking at their group, they are down in Group F for this one, and looking down towards Group F, they 2-0 Chevaliers/J. They get the 2-1 over Flame to Moth, but then their next, actually no, they are up 2-0 right now. They have to play their last set, which is against Mach Bikers, the seed number 9. Ancient Nightmare sitting down here at seed 6. Both of those teams are 2-0, so the winner of that match is gonna determine who's going to gold bracket, regardless of what the end result is gonna be. For Ancient Nightmare, you're definitely feeling good. You kind of got over the initial hump of that first game on Undertale Remaker. You make the recovery in game 2, and you just suffocate out Flame to a Moth on game number 3 to take the set overall. They go up to 2-0, and like we said already, the game against Mach Biker is definitely the one that they want to win, because that is going to be the chance for them to go to gold bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even with that, it looks like Ancient Nightmare still has a potential way forward here, even if they lose that next set. But we'll have to see there. That won't be on stream. If you want, you can keep tabs on the bracket to continue to see if Ancient Nightmare can make it. But that'll be it for us for round 2. Stay tuned for round 3, coming up imminently.
Well, hello, welcome back to round number 3, right into the fray here for FTIU number 101. It is Div 12 versus CeeLo Q for the last game. Div 12 up 2-0 right now, looking to possibly make it 3-0 and punch their ticket into the gold bracket. CeeLo Q looking to play spoiler on a 1-1 record right now. For DH, honestly, with both of these teams, very familiar with Div 12, honestly. Cephalorock does go down on those Dapple Doolies, and Trent here with this bucket already trying to kind of play in a possibly dangerous game of cat and mouse with the decaf here in mid already.
No, Div 12 in particular has a quite interesting comp with that leader. The leader that, to the begrudge of many, we've seen a lot more in the meta recently, but it's definitely a weapon that is going to excel on Museum. It's a very backline favorite map to begin with, and they are picking up some momentum here to start, although maybe not, as Div 12, they're getting good paint control. It's a very orange mid right now, and they might want to be able to push up the ramp. Their mini Splatling does have an Ultra Stamp at the ready. We'll see when they have to pop it. They get a nice kill on the decaf. Here comes a Stamp, not going to quite find anything, but creates a nice bit of space here as another member of CeeLo Q goes down here. And Nicholas on that mini is going to help pop the basket, but it'll just be that pencil left for Div 12, and they're going to go down. It's a delayed wipe, and CeeLo Q might want to start this counter push quick on the DF. It's going to pop the bubble, goes down. The Booyah Bomb is going to follow here, and that's a lot of momentum here that CeeLo Q has on Div 12's plat. Is not going to be a score, actually. Div 12 is going to be holding strong here, even though they are 2 down.
Yeah, even like possibly a bit of we saw a bit of a gaff there from Tiny. They unfortunately missed the jump a little bit. They couldn't get anything, but they do manage to make the recovery, and Div 12 makes a full defense of it as well. Reslider got any extra picks that they needed. Tiny does have a lot of clams to their name now. They just need one more to form another ball, power clam, if you may. But with a lot of the economy, look at just the amount of economy right now. It is a monopoly for Div 12, and that being said, the barrier is broken once again. Nicholas just gets a burst bomb throw saying, you know, see ya later. They do get some extra clams in as well. Trent is the only one remaining. They try to get as many clams in as they can, and they manage to jump out. They get away with the sneaky scores right in enemy firing lines, and the basket is going to close at 55. That is a good push for Div 12, and they definitely could keep it going, especially if they get another power clam in, because the power clam is more than enough to chew through that penalty that Div 12 has. And for CeeLo Q, the lead is getting larger and larger to come back from, but they do have a lot going for them already. The decaf does get the pick onto the Dapple Doolies. The hammer does come out. They have to throw the Powerball back to try to save their life before they get the trade out.
And Div 12 doing a good job dictating the pace of things here. Oh, CeeLo Q, that's a lot of specials online for them right now. Here comes the cooler. They have the Booyah Bomb and the Wavebreaker to follow when they so choose to pop it. Jason on this S-Blast here, moving back in the mid, trying to poke out some of the players on Div 12 that had made their way, moving right. They're still holding that Booyah Bomb, but they're pressured by a couple of members of Div 12 firing on them right now. Now they have some teammates joining them in mid. Here comes this NZAP here, moving forward a bit on left, but Div 12, they're doing a good job holding them back. They're forcing CeeLo Q to be patient there. They get a kill on that decaf, but well, CeeLo Q, they are getting 2 down here. They are moving deep despite Div 12's attempts to slow them down. Div 12, they do have the lead right now, but they don't have a very big lead. It's definitely one that CeeLo Q can come back from if they decide to, you know, make this push count.
Yeah, especially with the amount of clams that also CeeLo Q has. But although as that's being said, a lot of people are going down Scribble here with this NZAP, trying to see what they can do. They are a bit revealed with those coolers. They're trying to see if they can get any bomb picks as well. They don't find anybody exactly. But with CeeLo Q, they do remain in control of the middle of the map here. The strikes do come out to try to force people out, but Tiny does go down. The cooler, I don't believe, came out. Actually, no, it did. I believe it's a bit of a weird side switch on our side here. They do get some jumps in, though. The first barrier is broken. The Booyah Bomb is popped immediately. They throw it right down on themselves. Trent does go down to the Booyah Bomb. It's not exactly what you want to see, but Cephalorock is here getting a triple on the Dapple Doolies with the Reslider now ready and raring to go. That is a big stop from Div 12 before they could possibly, that lead could swap back into the side of CeeLo Q's favor.
Yeah, CeeLo Q, they get a push, but it's not quite enough to take that lead. They're going to need to strike again in these last 30 seconds. It's 2 down on both sides, but all of the momentum is in the favor of Div 12 right now. They have good control in mid. They have that pencil established on that flat, watching all those areas in mid. Although here's a bubble that comes up towards the basket of Div 12. It's going to get taken down though, and CeeLoQ's actually going to go a couple down there. Div 12 doing a good job of cleaning that up before it gets out of hand. They're pushing up a bit farther than the right as we're under 10 seconds now. Now, Cephalorock, they have that restarter. We'll see when they have to pop it. They're still moving around, drawing out maybe the CeeLoQ to the corners, exactly what a Dapple Dooley wants you to do if you're playing the enemy team right now. And even still, trades going down on both sides right now as overtime has set in. CeeLoQ needs to mobilize them. They need to win these fights, and they can't. They just can't. That's an Alder Spin to the face right there, and that just might do it. CeeLoQ is going to run out of time here as they go down once again, and Div 12 survives to take game 1.
Yeah, can we get a possible ice pack for that decaf? Because that was just brutal, seeing the Ultra Stamp get thrown directly at their head. But it was a bit unfortunate for the side of CeeLoQ, and unfortunately the overtime does not work out for them. Kind of right into the fray. Definitely all things, like, a lot of things are already going right for both teams, but a lot more for Div 12. We saw CeeLoQ, they really couldn't get a whole lot. They tried to kind of possibly cheese the basket a few times with getting some cheeky jumps in and everything, but with Div 12, they just did so well to shut down any of the cheeses. Now, they are the, you could say, a bit of some anti-cheese police on the side of Div 12, but with game 1 out of the way in Div 12's favor, one more game for them, because it is a best of 3. If they win this next game, they win the set, they go up 3-0, they go to gold bracket, and with it being on TC Shipshape Cargo Co., this could be very interesting for both of these teams.
Yeah, no, I think absolutely. I think if you look at what these two teams tried to do on Museum Clamzot's game, it was a very defensive game. It felt like it was dictated a lot by those backlines, the leader and the pencil, respectively. And I don't know, I think Shipshape, it plays a little bit differently. I think that there's less, really good backline positions compared to Museum. I think it's a more scrappy map, especially with tower control, where you're going to have backlines moving a bit forward with the objective there. We'll see if any of these players potentially use that opportunity to take advantage of, getting these backlines in places where they don't usually want to be as they're riding tower. Because I do think that for a bit of that last game, it felt a bit slowed down because those backlines are always watching mid. I feel like players were winning fights, but they weren't able to kind of continue off the momentum of those fights simply because, the backline was there to kind of clean things up. So it will be interesting to see how these two teams respond to on, I'd say, a different map, I'd say.
Yeah, honestly, with it being TC Shipshape, we see it's a lot more flat, open, possibly even sightlines that you can get, especially on those bridges on the right sides of both of the teams' maps. We see the reslider can definitely do a lot on the side of Div 12 if Cephalorock does elect to stay on those Dapple Dooley's Nouveau. But with Game 2 already loading in now, CeeLoQ's got to do a lot to try to see if they can get anything back here to get into contention of the series. We've already seen 2 Game 3s in a row from the last 2 sets. We could possibly see it a third. Will Div 12 erase that narrative, though? We see the Splash-O-Matic coming out from the side of CeeLoQ, and we see the S-Blast and the Decaf, and there's the Pen as well. But for the side of Div 12, there is the Blaster as well. And Cephalorock already goes down to a direct from Jason, and with, I believe, this Trent very low on health, they got to be very careful, especially with something like a Blaster being very close. Jason winning another 1v1 there, and with possibly good amount of time for here to get a chance for CeeLoQ to get, and they get a third pick as well already going there, moving towards this first checkpoint really quickly. But Cephalorock with those Dapple Doolies just being the kind of you're always running around, you can't really seem to pinpoint them exactly, but people go down and the tower does go back to mid, but for the side of it's kind of going back more to a stalemate for both these teams.
Div 12 maybe could have gotten some momentum there, but they get 2 taken down by that tower there. They do pick up the tower anyways. They're going to trek forward despite the 2-down situation. Nicholas going to pop that Sam. Not going to quite find a kill, but they have a bubble set up. Div 12 has plenty of resources set up there. The Blaster is going to pop out though. Find one before getting traded back. So Div 12 stagnated a bit, but they're going to keep getting that checkpoint there. They're going to get a full wipeout. Great job by Cephalorock on that flank with the Dapples. They're going to keep going farther on this left side plat. I don't know if CeeLoQ knows that Cephalorock is there. That pencil certainly did, as they just drop right into the fray of things. They get taken out before Cephalorock gets traded back. Div 12 is in business here as they get that tower close to the second checkpoint.
Yeah, can we talk about the fact that earlier when we saw Cephalorock get that double and eventually led to the wipeout, they were on 1 HP. But that being a bit of a side, Jason gets another direct with the Blaster, just being an absolute thorn, in one of the worst places to fight an S-Blast. It's just a cornered S-Blast is one of the most dangerous weapons to fight here as we see Quick does go down trying to pick a fight with Tiny and Trent, and that is just a fight that they could not win at all. Trent is being aggressive, does get the pick onto Jason, but they do go down themselves, but not before Cephalorock comes in with the reslider, gets two by the looks of things. They force everybody off into a corner, forcing people to jump out as well. Cephalorock just continuing to be a huge X factor for the side of Div 12 as they start pushing this tower already more. They already have cleared through every single checkpoint. The hammer throw does get find one, and with Nicholas riding the tower, who's sitting nice all and pretty here, they do get what? Excuse me, where did that pick come from?
It's not going to matter here as Div 12. They're going to get that KO relatively easily, and they're going to take the set. They will finish off their 3-0 run of groups. They're going to gold bracket, and COQ, they are going to miss out there, but even still, like, you just gotta respect what Div 12 was able to do, especially in that second game. Like, it felt like that they just completely dictated the pace of that from start to finish. Even when their initial push fizzled out, they just kind of kept their foot on the gas pedal. They never left. They never let CLOQ get back in the mid, and from there, they just kind of snowballed their way to a KO.
Yeah, TC Ship Shape is another one of those maps that really can get a very quick KO, and for the side of Div 12, even when Nicholas went down on the tower slid all the way into the end goal, and that was the end of it for the side of Div 12. Just so dominant from all that. We see everybody was all playing very well. Cephalorock getting a lot of big value kills on the kill streaks on a lot of people. And for them, they are going to gold bracket. They got, actually, Div 12 got Division 8 in Ludi. Got eliminated round 1 of playoffs. I remember commentating that set as well. Man, if I had a nickel for every time I've been commentating Div 12 lately, I'd have like, I don't even know how many nickels I'd have at this point. I'd have a lot of them. But for the side of Div 12, their journey is not over yet. They have a chance here to possibly put this away and have a shot at being the next FTIU champion. But for that, for the time being, we are going to take a short break. We will be back for round 1 of gold bracket here before we eventually switch off the comms to Carney and Slat for semifinals and onwards. But don't go too far. Excuse me. Do not go too far. You are watching FTIU 101 on IPL. Well, hello and welcome back to Gold Bracket of FTIU number 101. The top 7 teams from all the groups we have seen so far have qualified into the Gold Bracket here, but only one of them can walk out with a win. For this first set, it is going to be 2 teams that have been making a lot of waves more in the FTIU cap scene. It is Friends Gonna Win Trust versus Pacemaker for round 1 of Gold Bracket. Both of these teams definitely have a lot of history behind them, regardless of it, if it's just the team name or the players. Friends Gonna Win Trust. They were the runners-up of FTIU number 98. Not everybody on this current roster of this Friends Gonna Win Trust squad was on there, but inkyThys and Breaks were 2 of those members, where they ended up eventually losing to Vanta Black in the Gold Bracket Finals. I remember I was one of the people there on the. It was a very great set. They definitely have what it takes from the personal experience for me, but you also got to get credit where credit is due to Pacemaker as well. They've been doing a lot well recently. I believe they have a lot more members on their roster now, and hopefully for them, they have honestly what it takes. Both of these teams really have what it takes, but like we always say, only one team can move on, and the winner is gonna go up against seed number 1 Obsidian Moon for the next match in this bracket. DH, what are your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a smaller FTIU than what we've seen in past weeks, especially last week for number 100. We got 7 teams here in Gold Bracket, so I think for all of these teams, it's gonna feel a bit more wide open, just because you have to just simply win less sets if you want to win. But I think for both these teams, like, these are 2 very tough teams that have been on this stage before in this tournament. So we will have to see how it goes here. One of them is just gonna have their run straight up ended in this set right now. So we will have to see who that team is, who's gonna be moving on to semifinals to fight Obsidian Moon.
Yeah, it is going to be very curious here to see what both of these teams have in store. To quote Popgun from the Popcast when he was doing a weekly recap from the Ink Up number 98, he was talking about how Friends Gonna Win Trust had to stop naming themselves as saying that we're going to win Trust, and they don't end up winning. But this team definitely has a lot of talent behind them. Like we mentioned already, inkyThys and Breaks, 2 of the members of that runner-up squad from FTIU 98. Action and Rune, the 2 new additions as well. Action, not as many results as we have been seeing, but Rune also another member that we've seen a lot in low level as well. Previous members of $6 Shrimp Special and UV Rays as well. For Pacemaker on the other side though, Chirpy, they've been playing a lot together lately. They've been getting a lot of really strong results. They're kind of waiting, they haven't exactly gotten a massive big break yet. They have gotten some second places. They've gotten some third place finishes as well. Their most recent third place finish was in Shark Tank Shallow Waters number 34 back on March 9th, 2026. So they definitely have been a bit waiting here. They got 4th and 13th in the last previous FTIUs that they have played in. They definitely have a lot to going for them as well. But for Robo Ramen Zones, I mean, we talked about it earlier. We know like what's at stake here with both these teams with this map and how the geometry is laid out. So we'll have to see what both of these teams have in store for each other and who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a classic zones map amongst this community. You're going to see it in practically every tournament that's out there. And I mean, I think it'll be very interesting to see how these teams approach it. I think it's definitely one of the more linear maps, even though you do have those like lower level, like side flank areas, whatever you want to call them. They're there if teams wish to use it, but I mean, the zone is elevated above them, and there's not really a lot of ways to circumvent or go around it. So what does the other teams to approach it as we do get into it here?
Yeah, we see there's Rune and Sayaka Miki on the Dread Ringer, and we see actually there's a Dread v Dread here for both of these teams. Real is the one on the Dread, that they are the one that Real plays a lot of Dread Ringer, not in just anything, but they play a lot of weapons as well. A very versatile kit for the side of Pacemaker when it comes to any kinds of weapons they play. Right now, though, Pacemaker is the one to get in first control of the zone, but there's an early crab tank from Action already, forcing the zone into neutral for the time being. Breaks pops the cooler for the rest of their team to go, but still, that being said, Pacemaker keeps a big control. Sayaka Miki gets a slider off, but a counter slider I don't believe came online exactly. Actually, no, it did, because Real is still alive, but they do go down to Breaks. And that being said, the QR stuff has to jump out before they end up going down to anybody, and that is going to give Friends Gonna Win Trust a chance at getting through this and a possible lead swap here already.
Yeah, they have good positioning alongside the ramp of Pacemaker. Pacemaker is going to throw that Booyah Bomb from the SLs, but their Dread is going to go down the ensuing fracas there. Friends Gonna Win Trust still has excellent pick control around that ramp, and they're really going to have to force Pacemaker to either like charge brute force at that ramp or, you know, kind of dive the low ground, kind of climb their way back up from those walls there. They do get back in the zone, they do manage to get through that ramp and force Friends Gonna Win Trust to back up a bit, but they do hit that slide already. Sayaka Mickey's going to pop it now across the zone. It's going to get some value there, but Friends Gonna Win Trust is going to go 2 down throughout that, including the slider being taken down. They're forced to back up, and Pacemaker is going to make their way back in the zone and pop into those specials.
Yeah, definitely a very good use of the specials to get back in. Sayaka Mickey pops the reslider, and they are actually, no, it is Real that pops the reslider, and QR Stuff gets 2 picks, looking for a third, and they will get the third. There is the Flow Aura stay activated already for the side of Pacemaker. This is a very good hold for them already. Sayaka Mickey is so weak on health from a double burst bomb from the side of QR Stuff, but with the they do a lot right now. Real has another reslider ready already here. And with the lead swap possibly looming here, the lead swap does come in. Real has to be very careful. They go down to the crab tank. Ooh. There is the reslider loss for the side of Pacemaker, but Nox here with its E-leader gets a beautiful pick onto breaks on the heavy edit. They have to be very careful, especially with a bomb nearby, and the rest of their team gone as well. Electing to take lower ground, but they do get caught out by Aira. I believe it's Aira on the forged splatter shot throw there as well. Real has the reslider ready as well. The zone gets flipped to neutral for the time being. Real just trying to see if they can get something to get their ink tank refilled. That does give Pacemaker time to get control of the zone. The Dread goes down to the side of Friends Gonna Win, but watch out, reslider gets 2 before Real goes down themselves. This is another big opportunity for holding, especially with that 4th pick there. That looks like a delayed wipe for Pacemaker.
I know, Friends Gonna Win Trust in a bit of trouble here. Chirpy on the 52 is gonna pop that Willow to put them at bay for a bit longer, but Pacemaker's through their penalty. They have specials up. Friends Gonna Win Trust has specials ready of their own, but they gotta pop them quick. That crowd's gonna be all the way back in spot, not really gonna affect zone. The free is just chucked all the way up in the zone, gonna put something on. The slider's gonna come, but not for that pro. Goes down, but the slider's gonna be enough to cap the zone and stave off the knockouts for just a bit longer. Pacemaker goes 2 down. Friends Gonna Win Trust also 2 down. It's just Ira on that Forge Pro, holding that ramp, getting jumps in, trying to get Friends Gonna Win Trust back in the mid somehow. Pacemaker lost control of the zone. They did not get the knockout, but they have get control of the zone. They were never really displaced. They never got locked out, and they have that momentum still, even though they have the penalty to work through.
Yeah, that penalty was definitely not what you want to see for Pacemaker, because but now, as we say that again, another penalty gets tacked on Pacemaker. Chirpy gets a pick with the Gal there. They do go down to the crab tank as well. Nox gets a pick on the leader that possibly allows Pacemaker to get back into control of the zone. It has been a lot of Pacemaker. Friends Gonna Win Trust is still just being kept on the back foot here with all this. Nox with in one of the best positions they could take, honestly, in mid, sitting behind that pillow, getting any cover, because they could just sit here and bully everybody on the side of Friends Gonna Win Trust, because they simply outrange everybody. It's simple as that. And with the Booyah Bomb and the reslider, the counter reslider comes out, but it is too late for the side of Pacemaker. Friends Gonna Win does keep control of the zone. It is forced neutral for the time being, and Nox gets another pick with that leader. Real wins the fight, and QR Stuff there playing support as well. They gotta be careful here. There's jumps in. That is not what you want to see for Pacemaker. Actually, for Friends Gonna Win, because QR Stuff is just sitting up here saying, hey, I'm a problem, deal with me, and you're all dead.
QR Stuff, I believe, gets 3 there, and with just 24 seconds left, Friends Gonna Win Trust, they're gonna have to act now. Here comes that Booyah Bomb from Ira. It's gonna hit the zone, but Pacemaker's gonna paint right over it. Pacemaker nearly through the penalty. Friends Gonna Win just going down. Here comes a slider from second. You're gonna get countered. They cap the zone, but they go down immediately, and that's not what Friends Gonna Win Trust needs. They need to get a clean cap here. 2 go down on both sides. Just 5 seconds remaining here. Pacemaker holding on. PLG Nox finds a snipe, but Friends Gonna Win Trust caps at the last second, and they force overtime here. Pacemaker holding strong. That's another snipe for Nox here. Nox hitting all their shots right now. Friends Gonna Win Trust going 2 down. Rio going through with that dread paint. They're gonna move forward. They're weakened though. Helps find 1 kill, and that'll be it. Pacemaker caps the zone to take a thrilling game 1.
Yeah, on one thing I wanted to point out there, especially with that last leader snipe we saw, that was a snipe onto breaks, which is the edit for Friends Gonna Win. That was a very bad situation for for the side of Friends Gonna Win, because honestly, they weren't running Stealth Jump either, because we saw it from so far away. If they had Stealth Jump on, the leader would not see the pick, and they could jump in safely. But with that being said, Pacemaker holds on. Like we saw them, it was mostly dominant holds from them almost all game. We did see some comebacks from Friends Gonna Win, but no, Pacemaker just kept the pressure up, and Friends Gonna Win just couldn't keep up with it. And with game one going to them, Friends Gonna Win, you're saying in your name that you're gonna win, but now you're already in round one of Gold Bracket. Your backs are already against the wall, but we always have those narratives, teams that end up winning the tournaments with having their backs against the wall at some point in the tournament, like with their tournament lives on the line. But with Umami Ruins Clan Blitz for map number 2, they really have to do everything right here if they want to stay alive.
Yeah, you just saw big play after big play being made by Pacemakers throughout that last game, particularly their S-Blast and QR stuff and their E-leader in Mach, just hitting all of their shots down the stretch, especially in that last minute to take that game one for Pacemaker. It'll be interesting to see what Friends Gonna Win Trust can do to mitigate that on a map like Umami. I think especially that S-Blast, they can get so much value around that clumped basket area, around that top mid where people tend to group up a little bit more. Leader as well, it's a good leader map. I think it's one where, especially if they get established in top mid, they can get a really good lockout on. So I think especially for a shorter range team like Friends Gonna Win Trust, where their backline was Edit, which is not even really a backline, it certainly gets outranged by something like Leader. We'll have to see what they do to kind of work around that, if they have more targets on that Leader, if they have more targets on that S-Blast, but we will have to see.
Yeah, actually, one thing, you were talking about the backline for Pacemaker here. One of the things, actually, if anybody who pays attention to team recruitments lately, Pacemaker a few weeks ago put out some posts saying that, hey, we're looking for some new players. But one of the things they were always saying was backline, because Real on Pacemaker, even though they play Dread, they oftentimes would flex to other things. We always would see, there are times I've commentated them before, and I've seen them playing Pen, Dynamo, and I'm sitting here, I'm just like, Real, what are you doing? Just stay on Dread. That is your best weapon. But for the side of Pacemaker, they do seem to have it figured out. They found a new backline, and Nox already doing a lot for them with this rollout here. We see the Luna Blaster Neo from the side of Sayaka Miki. A bit of a different change of pace from the Dreadringer we saw from them earlier, but Chirpy with its Vanilla Blaster, they do get one pick on already, the Actions I believe it is, and with a first pick already, that is possible pressure already building for the side of Pacemaker.
And we do see the swap to 2 mini spot for both players who were using Dread last time. We go from 2 Dreads to 2 minis here in this lobby. As Pacemaker, they do have good control of mid. There's Real on that aforementioned mini spot lane. Moving forward the top mid, moving around, might potentially fight the other mini spot lane there, but they're going to get taken out along with all their teammates. That's a very quick wipeout for Friends Gonna Win Trust, and they're in business here. They have enough time to score and then some there. Ira on that mini spot lane now, going to get set up, going to keep moving forward onto that dome. Sayaka Miki as well, now on that Luna, as you said earlier. Moving forward, they get a trade there, but here comes a slider. That's Action there on that Tetra Duel. Is they get a trade as well. The push is going to end, but that's a great start for Friends Gonna Win Trust. 47 on that first push. It's a good lead that you can easily defend.
Yeah, though, that being said, though, with how much claims that we saw that Friends Gonna Win Trust had, that if you let Pacemaker get that many claims, and if you go down too many members, then things could really go thing. But not before Nox has anything to say about it, with getting 2 picks with make it a triple. Nox is going off right now, but they do get cornered off by breaks, and they do get the kill with that heavy edit splatling. But that being said, there's a lot of people down already to go down on the Pacemaker. Friends Gonna Win Trust, this is the response that they need if they want to keep their tournament hopes alive. And breaks had the edit popped cooler already. A lot more people are going down. Another 2-down situation for Pacemaker. They're going a lot of 2-down scenarios, and in a game especially like this, you cannot be going down so many people so often already.
Pacemaker just can't quite seem to find their footing here. They haven't been admitted for a lot, especially since Friends Gonna Win Trust got their main push. Even still, Friends Gonna Win Trust, they're pushing the advantage here. Breaks on this edit, moving to that pivotal top mid spot. They're going to back up to take this power climb, but that mini spelling on Pacemaker is down. Might be a way for Friends Gonna Win Trust to move their way in. Sayaka Miki's going to try it from the Uniblast, but they're going to go down. But still, Friends Gonna Win Trust are being very patient here. The slider's going to come out, and they're actually going to jump to that slider. They're going to go down for it. Ooh, interesting play, considering they don't get any points out of that. To have that slider, pop it, have that slider player go down and have the power clam jump die as well, all for 0 points and giving a free ball to Pacemaker. I'm not sure I agree with that play, but we'll see if it pays off here. Pacemaker, because of that, they are able to make their way a little bit back in the mid. Both mini Splatoons are down, but Friends gonna win trust. They're doing an excellent job of keeping that top mid. Just Breaks just holding that top mid, and Pacemaker has not been able to break through here.
Yeah, one thing I want to actually point out, like, I don't think I would agree either. Watch out, Nox, here, there's a bomb there, but I might not agree with getting that jump in and getting the splat immediately. But one of the things that it actually did do for Friends Gonna Win Trust, it lowered their penalty, so now one singular power clam instead of a power clam and a few extra clams goes through the penalty. They throw in one power clam, and that lead, well, not only is that penalty gone, but a few extra points get tacked on as well. And speaking of this, Breaks has a chance here to go in, but not before Nox has anything to say about it. They get some more picks. The clam goes in. There is the more leads. Oh no, they missed the power clam throw, and Breaks gets a little too overconfident trying to get anything, but Sayaka Mickey does get the extra pick. They get another claim in to boot. The counter is down to 5 already. Action has the last 2 claims that you need, and they get them in, and Friends Gonna Win Trust is gonna hold on. They're gonna hold out for a hero to the end of the night, and they are going to game 3.
We got, once again, a tied up set. Winner of this next one's moving on. Loser of this next one is done for the night. And I really want to shout out Breaks and what they did that game. I think, especially if you compare it to game 1, where it felt like their impact was not as much felt due to how the leader for Pacemaker was playing and kind of zoning him out of the most important edit spots. But that was not the case for game 2. They were able to hold that top mid, even when other teammates of Friends Gonna Win Trust were going down their own engagements. They were always able to jump back to top mid, just completely denied Pacemaker any access to mid. Once they tried to move in, they were just absolutely deleted off the map by the edit, just holding that high ground, unable to be affected by really anything. So really great positioning by Breaks there. Really good positioning by Friends Gonna Win Trust as a whole as we move on to game 3 here.
Yeah, one thing I definitely want to think about when we saw Nox switch to that order charger with the vac, one of the things that I think it definitely was a bit of a motivation boost for Breaks, because now they lose a little bit of that range, so they can play a little bit more aggressive, but they still had to be careful because of the fact that, you know, obviously the charger outranges edit, so they couldn't really do anything, but it definitely gave them some more operating room. And here, as we go to Humpback Pump Track, Rainmaker for game number 3. This is one of my least favorite maps, but one of the things that we saw Dread v Dread on the first map. Buckets and rollers in particular really can benefit from fighting in mid here because of the fact that they can hit over ledges, which is something that I wish I could do as a Splatana stand main. But that being said, both of these teams can make some changes. We've seen a lot of changes from both teams already. We saw a lot. We could go a thing here. We could see Sayaka Mickey stay on that Luna blaster as well, because Luna, with the huge radius that it can get if it gets up close and personal, can also be a deciding factor in any pushes here. But also, we could see Nox stay on that vac charger because of, you know, it's ink vacuum. We haven't actually seen an ink vacuum all night, I believe, as we see our spec cam having a little bit of a party as we're getting ready for game number 3 here. It is going to be do or die for both of these teams because their tournament lives are on the line here.
It's win or go home for both of these teams here to have the right to fight and stay in this tournament for just another bit longer. And we see some interesting comps here. We see Sploosh and Dapples on the side of Friends Gonna Win Trust here. Very short range, but along with that Edit and Crab Dread, they're gonna pop that Rainmaker quite nicely here throughout this match, and they do get that opening pop very easily. Pacemaker staying with something similar with the return to 52 from game 1 along with that Dread and that S-Bots, and Friends Gonna Win Trust are gonna make quick work in mid there. They're gonna go 2 down to Nox though. Nox sees all of their teammates go down, responds accordingly, finding 2 steps of their own, staying on that back charger, although not out of the woods yet. Friends Gonna Win Trust still taking space aggressively towards that left side. Nox gonna chip one, help find another, and they pop that back on the last one. There are Sayaka Mickey there on that Dread, struggling. TV is just gonna have to maybe chip them, but they somehow survive throughout all that. So good opening by Friends Gonna Win Trust, but also stacking frenzied with a ton of points.
Yeah, even though that being said, they've definitely got some good points, and especially with how this map goes. So look at Aira just beelining it for real, carrying that Rainmaker. They gotta be careful here. Flanking is the name of the game, or just rushing the rain, really, for any of these. Action, sitting here with these Dapple Blues, QR stuff can't get any picks on them. Chirpy, very low on health with that 52 gal, real trying to see if they can do anything. They get the pop. They have a lot of things, but beat, Reap Slider incoming. They do get the punish on it really quickly, but for the side of Pacemaker, they're holding this out, and they are making sure that Friend's gonna win Trust can't do anything, but they gotta be very careful because of how fast Friend's gonna win Trust could possibly rush them down. They have to be very careful, but with that being said, the Rainmaker resets to mid. The Slider is online, and so is the crowd as well. A-Rod gets canceled out by the Reef Slider from Real. We did see, they did go back to the Dread v Dread, but actually, Sayaka Mickey went to the crowd Dread, actually, mind us, really. But with that being said, they do go down, and it is, right now, mid is in control from Pacemaker right now. But honestly, with how we've been seeing Friends gonna win Trust, that honestly, no hold of any space in a map here is safe for Pacemaker.
Yeah, I mean, Pacemaker, what they really need to, no pun intended, dictate the pace this game right now. It feels like Friends gonna win Trust. They're going so fast, they're running all over Pacemaker, and Pacemaker's just struggling to keep up. They haven't picked up the Rainmaker once. This might be a shot, though, as that back is gonna come out. Real's gonna pick it with that Slider not being popped yet. Real still has the Rainmaker with that back there, but it's not gonna quite get the... It's not gonna quite get anything there, as Friends gonna win Trust does actually gonna take it left here. Very interesting play. You don't see this often, but it's gonna be enough to get the check. But getting the check is one thing, but moving past there and getting value is another thing. But it looks like they're gonna have no trouble doing that either. There's that crab from Sayaka Miki's gonna help get another wipeout. Sayaka Miki's gonna grab this rain and they'll get all that paint there. Here comes the Slider. They're going for the KO and they're gonna get it. Wow. You don't see that left route work out, but it works out perfectly there for Friends gonna win Trust. They take game 3 in emphatic fashion here and win the set.
Yeah, so I guess they may have possibly heard us by when we were talking about how Popgun slandered them when saying that they were gonna win Trust and they didn't win. Even being down 1-0 with their backs against the wall, they said, "Nah, we're gonna win Trust." And sure enough, they did. They punched their ticket to semifinals. They will play Obsidian Moon for their chance to go to the grand finals, but for the next up for that is unfortunately going to be the last set that we're going to be commentating here. We're going to be passing it off to Carney and Slat for the next match, which is Hewo Chudlings versus Mach Bikers, the other semifinals match that's going to determine. We are now in the top 4 for this set. It is going to be very entertaining. A lot of more Splatoon to be played. A lot more fast-paced action is going to be coming towards you guys, but that is going to do it for us, though. But as per usual commentator tradition, DH, where can the community find you?
You can find me this Sunday commentating the LAN Championship Showdown along with so many other wonderful commentators we have in the scene. I'm very excited. You guys should all be very excited. It's going to be a phenomenal event. We got 12 teams from 12 LANs all across the continent battling to duke it out, and it's going to be one hell of an event. I hope you all there to watch it. And Electro J, where can the lovely people watching find you?
Well, if you're going to be watching Shark Tank Shallow Waters Homeland Edition tomorrow, you'll be seeing me there. But other than that, you'll find me at ej46spl.bluesky.social, and then ElectroJ46 on Twitter and Twitch as well. Definitely, shout-outs to all the LANs and everything. Shout-outs to Benjamin, who is our spec cam and our streamer for tonight. But there's a lot more Splatoon coming your way, not just tonight, but also this weekend. We got Global Gauntlet coming up tonight as well for Splat World Series. He also mentioned we got the LAN Championship Showdown. There's a lot more coming your way, but coming up next is semifinals for IPLs from the Ink Up number 101. But until then, we will see you guys next time.
That Chudlings are on now as Mach Bikers, like you said, that E-Leader is just really holding its ground with this nice splat. Has that person from Hewo Chudlings pops onto that ledge, onto that stack there, just a really good like get out of my face type deal. We see the Wavebreaker being thrown out again, and we are at checkpoint 2, and I feel like the Chudlings are staggering a little bit here.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, Moth Bikers are taking a really good advantage of, like you see, they're going one by one down. They're just now coming in to take care of that push. As you can see, they're doing a great job of pushing back in the mid. But Moth Bikers getting it down to 13 points is pretty good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, I feel like Mako Mart is one of those really difficult, not difficult per se, tower maps. It's one of those things where it's like kind of Manta Maria-esque, where that last little bit of the corridor is kind of a pain to push through because you're right up against Freezer, you're right up against that platform area. You can get jumped super duper easily there. So making it down to 13 was honestly just a really nice goal in of itself, and it's looking like Moth Bikers are doing a really good job of just keeping that tower in neutral, which is honestly what you want to do considering we're almost 1 minute till the match is done.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what the Hewo Chudlings really need to do is, I see they have 2 specials ready. Honestly, they should wait for that undercover. Ooh, we see 2 go down almost immediately. But I think if they coordinate for specials just right, they could easily get past this checkpoint. It's just not looking too hot for them.
Yeah, less than a minute left remaining on the clock now, but it's just kill after kill here. Gray is just doing an absolutely great job here of being alongside Yavmu with that wiper. We see a stamp throw here from the wiper, not really managing to get us, but Mouse does end up popping that re-slider there gets a really nice splat onto Gray, but unfortunately, the folly of the Brella is that you are exposed from behind, much like any other weapon. Unfortunately, Mouse just discovered what that feels like.
The third dimension. With 10 seconds left, we have Mach Bikers being really aggressive, trying to keep the Chudlings out from getting in. Can they get to the tower? They're throwing themselves at it with the last second, and Mach Bikers takes game 1.
Honestly, a really solid showing of Mach Bikers and their skill set here on our first semifinals match of the set. And now I do want to take a little look-see here at the bracket. Now, Mach Bikers is going to be coming in at our 9th seed, so not. To see what seeds these two teams have been given and how it's been I don't want to say affecting their play style, but like how it affects the perception of their play style, if that makes sense.
No, it totally does. I also really love seeing the seeds that aren't in the top 10. Of course, one of them is in seed 9, but like seed 13, for example, I love seeing seeds that aren't like top 10 or like top 5 in finals and semifinals, because it's a little more interesting than, oh yeah, this is the top 1 seed. They're most likely gonna win. When I love it when the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed don't make it to finals. It's so exciting.
Absolutely. Now we're gonna be going right back into the match here pretty soon, but speaking of the match, let's take a look here at what we're going to be playing on next, I believe. To be Barnacle and Dime Zones. So I'm really expecting you to see those Sippies back. I'm probably expecting to see an E-Leader or some other kind of Charger variety. Probably can make a bet on the return of the Wiper. But let's take a look here.
Alrighty, well, we're gonna see what weapons they have. Looks like the same for both teams. Looks like they stayed the same.
Yeah, absolutely. We can see that we're gonna be going right in here. That custom Explosher moving in with the 52 and the the Vunder here, just really good. Making sure that they are not exposed in the first couple of seconds of the match, because you saw how quickly that Hewo Chudlings moved in. I feel like they might have felt like a little bit like in danger here, and they did have the time to just get on that really good spot right where you want to be as an Explo on that platform position.
Yeah, and honestly, they're taking advantage of the space that they currently have. You see the E-Leader over there trying to get the Brella, the Mouse here backing up. Oh, the strikes come out, pushing them out of the zone. But Mach Bikers aren't really taking the zone here. They're kind of just, they're kind of just holding it off. They're not really getting it with only 1 minute in the game so far. Oh, they just got it back.
Sorry, Citrine is like batting at my hand from his cat tree, and he's just like, his claws need to be clipped so bad. Gray here doing some really good, I always say ledge play, but I feel like there should be a better word for what you do when you're just like aggressively pushing the ledges, because that is just, I feel like we need like a shorthand moniker for that, because you see a lot of that in like those Wiper players, in the bucket players, which I want to point out Mach Bikers has both of those on their team, and they are moving in together here to threaten that death pit that you see.
Yeah, I do have a suggestion. Ledging. Anyways, let's sit on that as we go. Gomu going in. 15 ticks left. They were playing really, really aggressive. 10 ticks left. The Reef Slider goes in, but they knock all 4. Whoa, so many people are down. As we're ticking down, I think the game's going to end right here as Mach Bikers takes game 2.
Wow.
That was so confusing. I didn't know what to say.
No, totally okay. I was just distracted because my darling orange son decided to bat and bite at my fingers, like, just as I was going to, like, hop into, like, pick up from where you left off. So I was just kind of like, oh, ouch.
Let him on.
Let him
on
on.
The mic. You gotta let him on. Let him on. Come on.
He does.
Well, up
I
next,
feel like.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Up next we are going to our lovely Scorch Gorge of Clamplets. Interesting. First game, I forget, it was Tower, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel about Clamplets
I
on Scorch Gorge?
like Scorch Clams. I feel like
Me too.
because Scorch Clams does not utilize the back quarter of each team's side, that it makes it so much better. I'm really glad that they placed the basket where it is currently, because I feel like if they placed the basket like any further back, then it would be an absolute nightmare to play on.
Imagine if the basket was right. Imagine if they put the basket right where the Rainmaker final checkpoint.
Aw, dude, I'd be so mad. I'd be so
I'm just
mad.
I'm just imagining that, and it's making me actually tired. It's exhausting me, the thought of it. I just got hit with a wave of tired as I thought that thought. That is awesome. But honestly, I'm gonna say it. I might get some hate in chat. I'm actually not the biggest Scorch Gorge fan. I don't like the shape of it.
Okay, fair enough, honestly.
I don't like how you just have to drop in and pray. Oh, that's a lot of Splatoon maps. This one feels like it feels like you're dropping in mid, that you're just dropping in and that you cannot get out.
Slat, aren't you a dualies main?
Sometimes. Shot and dualies, yes.
Isn't dropping in and not being able to get out your whole thing?
I don't want to talk about it. What I do want to talk about is the fact that these teams have not changed their weapons at all. Hewo Chudlings and Zap already has their cooler ready. Looks like they're both just getting the cleanse they want and just keeping their space. Not quite many attacks yet. Oh, first blood. Mach Bikers goes down 2 immediately. 3 down immediately, which is giving Hewo Chudlings a chance to push in immediately.
15-second tacticooler is definitely something, especially like
Impressive.
Very impressive. Like, even if you're playing a Zap, that is still like actually intense here. We see Mouse here does have that Reef Slider in the back pocket. Really nice splat onto Quinn. That E-Leader is just really doing the work. They threw out that Wave Breaker. Doesn't look like it landed quite where they wanted it to land, but was that? No, we have a change. We have a change, Slat. That E-Leader, the Spy Eye, was a custom Explosher for the past 2 games, but they have switched to E-Leader as well. So we have a duel of the E-Leaders on this map, which honestly, if ever a map besides like the notably infamous Hammerhead Bridge to have an E-Leader duel on, I'm glad this is it.
I can definitely agree. As you say, Mach Bikers is able to get the basket open with a ball and some change. They're still getting some clans in as we speak and picking out Hewo Chudlings at the same time. It's such a hard name to say. Oh, the Reef Slider comes out and almost gets the pick. Just a very aggressive basket opening here. They did get pretty good. Take over.
They did have a pretty good like couple of picks there. I think is what they're. Whoa! Double from the E-Leader, but not the way you would expect. We got a pick from the E-Leader itself, and then right below, the Ink Mine of Death took out another one of Hewo Chudlings here. Moth Bikers has a ball to their name, looking like they're going to try and go forward with it. Going forward with the strikes. Gets a really nice pick onto Void. Barrier is broken with double clam damage, and still more to come, but there are 3 down on Moth Bikers, so that Wiper is fighting alone. Gets a really good trade before going down though, but it's 152 here.
Yeah, honestly, with just now halfway through the game, Hewo Chudlings still does have half of the game left to get down. They have enough clams to make a push here. All they really have to do is just get the picks they need and push forward. The Spy Eye here just kind of hanging out. Excellent pick on the other E-Leader. Just amazing.
We've got some like high noon cowboy stuff happening with these
Absolutely.
E-Leaders here on on Scorched Gorge. Moth Bikers looking like they're gonna try and build a clam right on that platform. Does not end up doing that, in fact. We can see that Hewo Chudlings, like you said, have enough clams to go for a push. They've got 2 power clams to their name. Now they just need some change, like you said, in order to get the lead underneath their control, but they just keep going down over and over, and it's just really not looking too hot here, as we can see those clams are juggling, but not really getting anywhere.
No, you're right. Oh, as you're saying that, a ball is about to get made and scored by the Mach Bikers once again. Mach Bikers just absolutely dominating this game. As you see, it looks like there was 3 balls over there. Two of them did unfortunately go away on the side of Hewo Chudlings. Wasn't that big of a push from the side of Mach Bikers, but hey, at this point, with a minute left, putting those points down a little more is going to make it even harder for Hewo Chudlings to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, like, not the biggest push in the world, but it was enough to make their points go down, like, just a little bit. And that will just absolutely widen the lead disparity between these 2 teams here, because Hewo Chudlings has not been able to score a single power clam into their basket this entire time. They've had several power clams made and in play, but Mach Bikers just absolutely stopping them every single time they try and even step foot onto that platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Moth Bikers is playing very aggressively. You know, the typical trope of very aggressive team versus the, you know, maybe team. Seeing that with the Mach Bikers, they're playing very aggressive. If Hewo Chudlings wants to do anything, they need to do it right now with 5 seconds left on the board. They do have 2 balls. Let's see what they do with them.
We're going into overtime here as 2 go down on Mach Bikers. The Hewo Chudlings does still have those 2 balls underneath their control. It's looking like they're gonna try and juggle them. We see the Reef Slider coming in because of the juggle here. And the Power Clam whiffs the basket! Oh, no. Dude, you hate to see it. Just sailing towards victory, and then right at the foot of the basket, you just weren't quite close enough.
It doesn't help that they were like, sometimes in the heat of the moment, I see it all the time. I've commentated a moment just like that. Like, you could just be so stressed out that you're not, like, paying attention, and it's just a little bit off. You're just a little bit off, and that was so unfortunate to see. Oh, man.
Yeah, and with that, I do believe that Mach Bikers takes the set from...
Best of 5, I think. I believe it's a best of 5. That's what it says on...
Yeah, it's best of 5. They won 3 games.
Oh, I'm a fool. For some reason... For some reason, I thought that meant first to 5. That's not... I need to read the whole name. Friends gonna win trust.
Gosh, I'm so blind.
No, it's all right. It's all right. So we're gonna hang out here until then. Do we want to go to a break while we wait, or do we want to yap about the game? Alrighty. Well, we will be right back with your grand finals in just a bit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to From the Ink Up Finals for Gold Bracket. We are gonna be bringing you our best of 5 finals match here in just a second. But if you have not been here for the past like 10 or so 10? No, it's been longer than that.
5.
If
Well,
you haven't,
we've been on break for like 5 minutes.
we've been on break for like 5 minutes. If you guys didn't see the last set, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Carney. I am joined by Slat, my buddy, my bestie.
Hello,
How's it
I am
going?
Carney's bestie. I am okay. I'm ready. I'm really excited to see. We just got the update that Obsidian Moon did make it to grand finals. So we do have
Teehee.
Obsidian Moon versus Mach Bikers. Teehee. Atonia. No, I'm just kidding. Ew. Why did I do that? Anyways, let's see our bracket. Bleh.
Bracket. Yeah, it's
Bracket.
Eto blah.
I don't know what that's from. I'm gonna be real.
That's how the bit goes.
I believe it. I believe you, Carney. Carney, I trust you with my life.
You would believe anything I say if I told you.
Yes. Well, do you remember the Groundhog Day situation? You said you'd believe me.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I did say I would believe you if you came up to me and you were like, Carney, I'm in a time loop and I need you to help me. I would believe you 100% because, like, in what situation is that going to happen and I'm not going to believe somebody for being in a time loop?
That is so true. Gosh, I can't wait till April 1st of next year, Carney.
Absolutely. It's gonna be
Just gonna
it's my
DM you.
day. It's my day because I'm like,
Is it your birthday?
you know, no. I'm
Oh.
Carney, Carnival. I am the jester, the fool, the clown. No, dog,
Okay,
my
also-
birthday's in October.
Real quick.
Yep.
The stream says From the Ink Up 102 on the title. In the stream it says 101, and on the link it says 99. Which one are we?
One.
I said 102 when I let us in. Uh-oh. Everyone, FTIU 101. Hey, it's all right.
We played a secret underground FTIU within the past week that nobody else got to see, that nobody knows the results of. And that's
Nobody,
why we're
not
at
even we do.
FTIU 102. Let's look at
Not even the players.
maps. Let's look at the maps.
Bracket.
Bracket.
Hooray.
Ooh.
First, we have map 1 being Rainmaker Museum d'Alfonsino.
A classic. A classic.
Absolutely.
Very
Wow.
nice.
What is your favorite part of Alfonsino?
Like the Rainmaker specific Alfonsino map, or just the map
sure.
in general?
Sure, yeah.
For the Rainmaker
No, I like
specific, the Rainmaker specific, my favorite part of the Museum d'Alfonsino map is the fact that you can take Spinner all the way up to the left side of the enemy's bats and then just jump down to the goal from there instead of having to swim through the ink and like past the Spinner. I've seen so many funny plays on that and it just gets me every time.
Well, you stole mine. That's what I was gonna say. So I have to think of another one. It's okay. I do like the Rainmaker zones on this one because it does really, because there's like that little pit that no one needs to go into, which I find really
it's
funny.
It's a Rainmaker zone. It's like, dude, nobody was going in there to begin with.
I think that has to be my favorite part because no one is going in there. There is no reason to drop down there. Is there any reason to drop down there? And like, I guess if you're like pushing like a zone or like a tower, but for Rainmaker, I don't see it unless
so like
I could see uses.
But I can see like a use because that specific like pit of death connects to like the bats in a specific way where you can just kind of like sneak around like that little pit area and get the drop on people, but it's really not that useful like you said for Rainmaker, because if you carry the Rainmaker, you've just basically got a big sign that says, hey guys, I have the Rainmaker, come splat me.
Exactly. Following that up, what is your least favorite part of Rainmaker Alfonsino?
Middle spinner.
Yeah. That, and honestly, I find the if you don't take the left up on the the enemy or ally spinner, you have to go through the most annoying pit ever to get to the final checkpoint. Because you go down and then up again, it feels like. And I feel like that's like where a lot of pushes get stopped, because it's like, you literally can land right in front of the Rainmaker and splat him immediately.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's the same like problem that it's the same problem that Manta Maria has. Maybe Manta Maria is just like a tough map to play on for us poor frontliners, and holy dynamo!
Oh my, we've got an interesting comp here from the side of. We got Obsidian Moon with the Dynamo, the Frozen Pro, the Slosher, and the Wiper, and we're seeing a similar comp. Oh, yeah, very similar to what wait, hold on.
That's the
Yo, I
same
think it's the
exact
other way around. There we go. There we go, yes. The Mach Bikers, the same exact comp they were running earlier. We see Wi-Fi Diff jump out as it looks like Obsidian Moon is doing a really good job at immediately pushing forward here.
Yeah, they snag that Rainmaker, move it up onto that checkpoint with relative ease here. We see that Dynamo providing those well-needed sippies as we continue to just push that Rainmaker forward. Now, interesting to see here that Dynamo is technically considered the anchor of Obsidian Moon, and I really love to see Dynamo mains. They just have my entire heart, because how are you playing a weapon that slow and being excellent at it? Maybe I just have a skilling issue, but like, woof, that is rough here. Now, Obsidian Moon does end up getting the Rainmaker to the checkpoint, not able to like really push it past any further though. As Mach Bikers make sure that that Rainmaker resets, and they're trying to start moving forward for their own push.
Yeah, honestly, really good push from the side of Obsidian Moon. I honestly am not gonna lie, I expected it to go a little further. But Mach Bikers did a really good job at immediately pushing Obsidian Moon out of their base. I mean, it's not working as well now as they go 2 down, almost 3 down, and they pick the Rainmaker back up. Oh! But the E-Leader, oh, what the? The E-Leader goes down, and then the Wiper takes the E-Leader down. Obsidian Moon is still pushing back into the base, even with that amazing E-Leader shot. We see the strikes come out. It's getting pretty messy out here.
Oh, dude, you cannot just tell me that like that E-Leader just splatted the Rainmaker as it was falling off and behind middle spinner while also being threatened by the Wiper. That is absolutely insane. I really hope somebody clipped that, because that was peak E-Leader gameplay, if you want my humble opinion about it. Mach Bikers here is just really trying to hold on to their zone, which is nice in theory, but with 2 down and a Rainmaker still to pop, they really just got to move forward and get into that checkpoint if they want a chance at getting some points on the board, because they have not been able to get in control of the Rainmaker once this entire game, and we are 2 minutes and 30 seconds until the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, they've spent the first half of this entire game just keeping Obsidian Moon from making any progress, which is pretty impressive when we're talking Seed 1 versus Seed 9. But still, if they want to get the win here, they need to start pushing in. You see they go 2 down here as Obsidian Moon is once again trying to get the Rainmaker. They're going to pick it up in just a second here to get a push going, it looks like. As they go, it looks like a delayed wipe. Yeah, it's not looking very good for Mach Bikers here.
Absolutely not here. That's Slosher doing a really good job of ledging, as you said earlier. We can see that the Dynamo picked up that Rainmaker, looking like they're gonna try and move it through that spinner area. Does end up losing the Rainmaker, and 3 down on Obsidian Moon. It's a wipeout on Obsidian Moon, which means that Mach Bikers is going to be picking up that Rainmaker, moving forward across that spinner now. Yomu at the helm, got that stamp ready to pop at any moment here. Wi-Fi Diff just trying to get onto that checkpoint, and they do manage to break through the checkpoint. We see that stamp come out, get a really nice pick, and they take the lead!
Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! I'm not gonna lie, I did a little silence here when they got the checkpoint. An amazing push from Mach Bikers here with a minute left on the board. They are able to get the lead, not very far, but just enough to take it from Obsidian Moon. Now Obsidian Moon has to play really aggressively in this last minute to try to take it. Can they do it, or is Mach Bikers gonna hold it?
Just really down to these last couple of seconds here. We see Wi-Fi Diff just like standing as that menacing E-Leader, gets a nice pick onto that Rainmaker. 3 down on Obsidian Moon. Mach Bikers is still in the lead. They have the Rainmaker under their control. All they have to do is just hold it in neutral or hold it in their base and keep the rest of Obsidian Moon out, because if they hold it for long enough, they are going to be snagging this win right from underneath Obsidian Moon's noses. And there's only 30 seconds left on the clock, and inkyThys, just the E-leader of all time, getting so many really nice picks. But that Rainmaker, you see exactly where that Rainmaker is and what they were hoping for. That Rainmaker is in a really nasty spot.
I'm not gonna lie, normally I'm not a big fan of the, hey, let's hold the Rainmaker back. But when you're at a disadvantage this far apart, do it, man. I want to, let's see that win. Amazing job, Mach Bikers taking game 1. Not what I predicted, not gonna lie.
No.
So I'm excited. I am excited for this set. I am absolutely excited, Carney.
Man, absolute shout out to inkyThys for just being like a goated E-leader player, because all of those picks that were on camera were crazy.
Question.
Absolute insanity. What's up?
Was that E-leader pick of the guy falling off of Spinner while the wiper was on him, was that inkyThys?
I think so.
Amazing. VIP, very important player of the game. Gotta go to them. Absolutely. That was amazing. Oh, we got an instant replay here.
Instant replay. Ah, I think this is the point where, ooh.
They stopped the Obsidian Moon push right at the end. This is where they could have lost it, and inkyThys stopped the Rainmaker from going.
Absolute insanity.
Up next.
Okay.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
No, you good, because you wanted to say something before we talk about our next map, so go ahead.
Before we talk about the
Oh, well, we're going into it.
Well, you know what? It's Barnacle time, baby.
Barnacle.
Barnacle.
Right? Not much change from Obsidian Moon. No change from Mach Bikers either. Wait, did they both have wipers before?
Ooh, wait.
Chat, you're paying more attention than me. Did they both have wipers? I'm kidding. We see Yomu here immediately ledging, trying to make sure they can push into the middle here. Both teams have a decent amount of plans. Not much of back and forth happening just yet. Not much bloodshed. One does go down on the side of Obsidian, however.
Yeah, and Obsidian Moon has their Sippies active. We see that hammer throw go out, not really finding much. Red Shark just doing an absolute great job collecting those clans, moving forward. This guy is schmoovin' like an ink brush here through that ink. Now, we do see a couple do end up going down on Obsidian Moon. Mach Bikers just moving forward fast into that area, as we can see that E-leader is going to be setting up on that platform. They've got 14 clans to their name. Looks like they're going to try to build a clan workshop here. Gray looking like they're going to try and back out to make sure that inkyThys does not get targeted and hunted here. But with 2 down on Mach Bikers, 3 down on Mach Bikers, Obsidian Moon has the advantage, and they are going to be taking it in stride.
I mean, absolutely. As you say that, they do get the ball in after that wipe, which was an amazing wipe, by the way. Something I did want to point out, which is why it feels like it might be easier for Mach Bikers to be getting the picks they need on Obsidian Moon, is they do outrange Obsidian Moon a little bit. I mean, the E-leader is a big, proponent of that, but E-leader versus Dynamo and the other weapons, it feels like Obsidian Moon is at a slight disadvantage because of how far that E-leader can reach. As you can see, they did get a 44-point push, which is actually really good.
Yeah, like you said, that's 2 power clams and some change right there. Yomu getting that stamp up, moving forward into that base here, trying to get a pick onto Red Shark, does end up getting that, wins the sword duel, moves up onto that, gets that clam and just dunks it right in there like nobody's business while the rest of their team is occupied. And I feel like for Mach Bikers, these short pushes are going to be really good for them. All they have to do is just chip away at that basket slowly but surely here. Obsidian Moon was just all about that big double clam and some change push, but Mach Bikers I feel like could benefit if they manage to just get another couple of really sneaky power clams in there from Yomu. I feel like it could really work for them.
Absolutely. I mean, Moth Bikers does have the majority of the clams on the map right now. As I say that, a lot of them do disappear from the picks going down. Obsidian Moon is doing a pretty good job at stopping them from getting too strong of a push. With 2 minutes left on the board, that is pretty smart of them to do, because honestly, I think they only need like 2 clams to take the lead. I know how to do math.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 clams to take the lead. All they need is 2 balls to make the lead. Not 2 clams, 2 balls. So if they can make that, or a ball and some change, it could be over in a blink of an eye. So with 1 minute 45 seconds left, what do you predict is going to be next card?
It looks like Mach Bikers are going to try for another push. They've got their Sippies active. Yomu has the clam in their possession here. All he got to do is just move to that basket and toss it in there. But Obsidian Moon is proving really, really solid in their defense. It's getting kind of hard for Mach Bikers to move around that mid. And they're just slowly but surely being pushed out of that area. We see those tri-strikes are in the back pocket of Isaac here with a really nice assist onto that member of Obsidian Moon. 2 down on either side now, looking like we're gonna try and go forward to maybe save that clam, but it looks like Wi-Fi has another clam in their possession, and we've got 2 power clams on the board for Mach Bikers, so hopefully a push soon.
There's the 2 clams I was talking about that they need. All they really got to do is the picks they need to push in. We've got the wave breaker going out and the tri-strikes going out. Let's see if Moth Bikers can push it and get the score that they need. We see the balls go out. We see 1 go out. We see 2 go out. As they do, oh, the ball didn't go in, but they do end up getting in, taking the lead by 9 points. As you see, Wi-Fi is going back to pick up another couple clams, trying their best to just keep the basket open a little longer. Yomu with the stamp, getting amazing throw pick on it. The basket does go up, but they do barely just take the lead with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, an incredible lead swap from Mach Bikers here. We saw just all of them dive in towards that basket all at once, and they break the barrier yet again. That lead is still getting closer and closer toward Mach Bikers. As we see it, Wi-Fi just goes back into that platform area, has another power clam, is face down with the Dynamo here, and now we can really see what you were talking about with the range disparity that the Dynamo and the E-Leader have in store. Both really powerful weapons on their own, but the E-Leader has the range of, like, well, they are the longest range weapon in the game currently, so I can't really say what they've got the range of because they've got it. And Obsidian Moon now in overtime is just staggering slowly but surely. It's not looking good for them to be winning this match, and with that, Mach Bikers in another upset takes the game.
I'm losing my mind, Carney. My mind has, my skull has popped open. My mind has left. It's gone. I don't know where it's at.
Absolute insanity. Just like, they all dived into that basket all at once. The clams were flying. They break open the basket. That second clam whiffed. I thought for sure that the push was done in there, but Mach Bikers Wi-Fi just moved forward underneath that clam basket, got just in between all of that ink in those players, and just swoosh right into the basket. That was the lead swap. And then they did get another power clam and then some other clams in there right afterwards as well. That is just
Excellent.
Excellent. And like we're saying in the chat, putting that respawn punisher to good use.
Absolutely. Up next, map 3, my favorite map mode combination in the entire game, Ship-Shape Cargo Co. Splat Zones.
Oh man, the E-Leader's gonna have a field day with this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are the walls to take advantage of inside of the zone, but other than that, there's like the ledges, there's a couple places where the E-Leader can't get you, but other than that, it's a pretty open map.
It is just open season for E-Leaders at this moment, and I do want to point out that we are already at match point. If Mach Bikers manages to win this map, this mode, on ship-shaped zones, they will be crowned our FTIU champions this week. So big stakes for them. And Obsidian Moon has got to be feeling the burn at this point. Just like, how are you mentally doing after 2 insane upset lead swaps against you back to back?
Well, let's see if they switch up. They do switch up. We see a little bit of a stamper here. I will say, I just want to remind you, Obsidian Moon is our #1 seed for this FTIU, and Mach Bikers, I believe, is our #9 seed. So, this is really exciting. Carney, what do we got?
Like you said, that sticker stamper is going to be coming out from Red Shark, trading that Viper to another Viper of the more powerful variety here. As Obsidian Moon takes control first of that zone, they do end up losing it in just a few seconds afterwards. Mach Biker moving in, takes the zone from them here. Yomu doing a really good job of just keeping that zone equalized and underneath their control here. Obsidian Moon has just been pushed all the way back into that corridor space, but Mach Bikers is kind of losing control of that zone a little bit now. We see Wi-Fi here just on that ledge, on that overlook bridge. Bridge is the word I'm looking for. Wi-Fi was on that bridge looking to try and get some picks, but Mach Bikers goes 3 down, and that Booyah Bomb from Red Shark coming out. They're looking to try and get as many casualties with that bomb as humanly possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's honestly a really smart play. As we saw, they stood there for a second before, waiting for enough people to come out before they threw it. They have a decent lead going. As the Tri-Strikes do come out, is it going to take the zone? Doesn't quite flip it. Obsidian Moon stays in control, knocking their points down even more. We're already past the halfway point, and we're going further down with only a minute and a half in the game already.
Ooh, and a really nice triple from the Dynamo Roller. The
Aura
Dynamo
activation
has Flow Aura activated after a nasty triple. We're down to the single digits now as Obsidian Moon is looking like they are easily gonna try and claim that win from Mach Bikers. They said, no, we are not getting swept tonight. It is our turn to take a game off of you, and honestly, that Dynamo triple at the end sealed the deal. Insane.
Absolutely. That was amazing. Obsidian Moon was like, oh, match point? Nuh-uh. With that was probably our fastest game of our set, personally. I think that was our fastest game. So,
yeah,
we're already ready to head on to our next one, which I believe is Hagglefish Market Tower Control. The E-Leader, once again, has a really big advantage on this map. I think Obsidian Moon, if they want to keep this push going and they want to take it to a game 5, they need to combat with something. Because the E-Leader has way more range on this map than that last one.
Not only that, but if you thought that ship shape was open, then Hagglefish Market is basically a free-for-all for that E-Leader. It's easy math. Just park yourself on glass and then shoot. And don't move. And you can basically reach, like, halfway across the map. Because it's Hagglefish Market. You're playing an E-Leader. Like, it's free real estate. You can just be there.
What do we think Obsidian Moon is going to counter with here? Because honestly, I'm a little worried about what they're going to do, especially that Dynamo. With the leader having that much range, it could be really bad for them if they don't switch it up.
I'm really hoping we see the sticker stamper again, especially because of the Booyah Bomb. Booyah Bomb on tower, as we all know, is quite the hot strat in the Splatoon of now. In the Splatoon of today. I'm expecting to see those triple ink strikes again because we have not seen Mach Bikers switch their comp a single time, which has been working for them. I'm not gonna. If it works, don't change it. And it looks like we're not changing much from either teams here. Both of these teams are going to be sticking with the same comp. Red Shark still on that sticker stamper. Expect to see Booyah Bombs in your future directed towards that tower.
Absolutely, and the combo with the Tenta missiles, that can be really, really devastating if used together. Honestly, right at the start here, pretty balanced. Nobody is yet hopping on the tower. We got 1 down from the side, 2 down from the side of Mach Bikers, with Symbolic getting the picks that they need. You see the Tenta missiles do come out. marking 2 as they are already pushing forward. Obsidian Moon immediately takes the tower first, it seems.
Yeah, we see that Booyah Bomb being thrown out right on that elbow area, which is really a really good place for that to be thrown here. We see Jones on that Slosher just absolutely laying waste on Mach Bikers. Gets a delayed wipe on them, in fact. We are already at checkpoint 1. Obsidian Moon is no longer playing around here. We see Jones with those triple ink strikes, just holding on to them for dear life, waiting for those GG strikes to be coming and on the way. And with strikes on the brain, the strikes from Moth Bikers are going to be coming out, taking Obsidian Moon 2 down, but they're not done yet. They're still riding the tower slowly but surely, but it's looking like they're staggering a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people did go down there, but at the end of the day, Mach Bikers was able to stop that push. But good for Obsidian Moon. They already immediately, within the first minute and a half, broke through the first checkpoints. Whoa, where did that pick come from? Okay. As you can see, Mach Bikers is taking advantage of the situation, and you see, the hammer comes out, doesn't get a pick, but the Dynamo does end up punishing them for that. Honestly, I think Mach Bikers need to get a little bit more of their paint on the ground before they push forward.
Absolutely. I feel like there's a really big paint disparity here because Obsidian Moon is just slinging that ink in their direction. Now, we do get a really good pick onto Wi-Fi, and Red Shark gets a good pick on a Yomu here. It's looking like Mach Bikers is not looking too hot. They have not been able to even touch that tower thus far. Obsidian Moon just keeping them in their place. We do see Obsidian Moon go 3 down though, so maybe hold my tongue here as Mach Bikers touches that tower and begins to move it forward. We see Isaac with those triple ink strikes in that back pocket, looking to try and maybe get some ledging active here. We do end up seeing Mach Bikers at checkpoint 1, but they're being beset on all sides from ink from everywhere.
I hate when I said ledging, but I also love it. Also, we get past the first checkpoint here. The wave breaker does go out. We got a couple mines on the tower, so if anybody does try to jump up, they are immediately damaged. They make it to the second checkpoint. This is where it is. Unfortunately, they do go down and lose the push here, but they got really close to taking that last checkpoint. With 2 minutes left on the board, there's still a chance for Mach Bikers to take the win here.
Absolutely. It's a 9-point lead disparity. They can easily just move that tower into winning position if they manage to take control of that tower yet again, because 2 down now. On both teams here, we can see that Moth Bikers is going to be moving back into mid here. Wi-Fi just perching right behind those boxes, looking to try and get a pick, and you can see exactly how far that E-leader shoots from those boxes behind glass to the middle of that neutral zone where that tower is. You're not going to be able to move anywhere unless you take care of Wi-Fi first. Now, Red Shark does get a really good pick here, as we can see them trying to move forward. There are specials not quite online, but in the back pockets of many here. We can see those triple ink strikes coming out from Moth Bikers, not really able to do much but neutralize the tower. We get a really good pick onto Symbolic here. Gray moving forward, trying to get a pick onto Jones, and it does get a trade, but honestly, a really solid trade in my honest opinion. We see Wi-Fi move up onto that tower, and it's looking like Moth Bikers is going to try and get that lead.
With 50 seconds left, can they break through this checkpoint? An amazing pick right off the bat. A Booyah Bomb does go out the tower, almost taking out Wi-Fi Tiff, but not quite doing it. We now see they're pushing forward where they need to be. We got someone going left and someone going right as the checkpoint is being pushed. Isaac has to hop at the tower because our leader Wi-Fi goes down. They break the checkpoint and they take the lead!
They took the lead. They're still going. Obsidian Moon goes 3 down. They are at checkpoint 3 with 2 down. The jumps just keep coming in, going all the way down to 15 points. They take the lead in the last 30 seconds of the match here. As we can see, 2 down on either side. Obsidian Moon 3 down. They don't have an answer. They're gonna have to try for an overtime push if they want to take this win back under their belt from them. But now or never, that Booyah Bomb is going to be coming out, and Gray takes the tower. Mock Bikers takes the win for their team as the top dog of FTIU 101.
Congratulations, Mock Bikers, for being the grand champions of FTIU 101. Whoa! That was an amazing last push, Carney. Whoa!
Holy cow! That was absolutely insane. Mach Bikers just said, okay, we are going to have Sippies active. We're going to just jump into the tower as much as we possibly can. Inch it forward, get the checkpoint cracked, and then some. They had a 9-point disparity in the lead against Obsidian Moon, and they said, let's make it 15 points in our favor in the last 30 seconds of the match. I'm absolutely reeling. That was insane.
I need that clip. By the way, chat, I need that clip. Well, wow. I am like, my heart was racing towards the end there. I haven't gotten that excited in a long time.
Ooh.
But, wow. Mach Biker showing that sometimes the seeding just doesn't mean that they're gonna lose, you know? I know it happens a lot, but I haven't seen it myself personally in a while. So it's really exciting to see teams that you don't see seated high. They peek their heads out and they're like, hey, we're still here too. That was shout out Wi-Fi.
Shout out Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi on Mach, amazing. And we gotta get another VIP. The Dynamo on Obsidian Moon was doing an amazing job.
Dynamo.
They are the reason that they won their first game. So congratulations both teams. You guys did really well, and congratulations to Mach Bikers for getting that FTIU ban. I believe that is all from us over here. Carney, where can the good people find you?
You guys can find me here on IPL or over at my Blue Sky, carnivide.bsky.social, and if you are tuning in to the LAN Championship Showdown on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, you will find me and Hammy yapping our little heads off over on Splatoon Tourney 1, and I'm really excited to do it, so you guys should come check me out. It's
be
huge.
there or be square.
Where can the good people of Twitch find you, Slat?
You can very often find me commentating for IPL, Dapple Productions, as well as Splatoon Tourney, and sprinkle a couple other smaller tournaments in there. But you can also find me over on slatica.bsky.social. You can find me on Twitter at slatica1. I'd recommend you don't. Twitter sucks. Also, I have a YouTube, Slatica, working out. I'm coming up with some comp content, so stay tuned.
Oh, before we go, I want to give a huge shout out to all of our lovely TOs and to Ben, who is our streamer
Ben,
tonight. We couldn't have done it without you, and we couldn't have done it without our lovely staff and tournament organizers over here on IPL. And thank you, the viewers, for tuning in to watch us, and catch us again on Friday, same time. As per usual, the ink will be upped. Good night.
Good night.